Warning. The following program is a recap of the HBCU sports world. It is meant to be comedic and informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their schools, or all black people. There may be some cuss words and some cultural words. If that bothers you, move along.
You are the only
If you're young,
participant
please
in
seek
the
permission before
conference.
watching any further.
All
If you at work,
participants are muted.
make sure you got your earbuds in. Don't blame us if you get fired. Thank you. The Outspoken Show.
And P.S. Don't be so damn sensitive.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. Jet, we Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairing, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death. I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops, they find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow, who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. To the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing son up, baby.
Hey, yo, Scotty, we back.
Yo,
Appreciate you for reaching
you a
out.
star.
I'm like, hey, it's Outspoken. A lot changed. Granted, the concept we still hosting. Giving you the fix you need when on the screen. The veteran, Captain Petty, giving you medicine. Come tap in. You know Scott gon' do what he do. Might not want to hear it, but here go the hard truth. Perry about the numbers, regret if you're not fact-based. When you run your lane, the numbers seem like a statue. Wait. Hey, Scotty, man, I'm not feeling it. I don't think the people feeling it. Let me get in my bag a little bit, just showing what this Outspoken really about to be like. Outspoken, this is more than conjecture. These days they laying people off, so glad that we got our own. Hunger insatiable, made for you if you say you objective. Hard truth offering, no offense, just perspective. Come get your dosage and go with me. We spit it like poetry. The pivot was pivotal. Could rhyme here, but I'd rather not. Some say Scotty, some call him Scott. The best one since Stewart. If you know, then you know. But if you don't, then you're lost. Let me be frank for a minute, cause we all know that's how Perry be. Break it down the game for what it was, no apologies. This my hypothesis, you tune in, you like watching it. It's common sense, obvious, competent, rugged, and confident. Hey, we outspoken. We outspoken. We outspoken. This is outspoken, and we gon' put on a show, even if we hear you say I can't. It's outspoken.
Hey, back. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Scotty back with another one, man. Happy Thursday, man. We're getting closer and closer and closer to game time on Saturday, man. Listen, I got a great show for you guys today. Got the collab with my brothers. You know what I'm saying? My boy, Perry White. And you know him, as I've referred to him, Mr. Walking Encyclopedia, Mr. Boy Wonder, Mr. Zach McKinnell. What's good, Zeke?
What's good, guys?
What's goody, Blue? Talk to me.
Hey, man, it's good to be back on here, man. Listen, Perry always invites me to his show early Saturday, man. I'm still like half asleep, so it's good to like chop it up with him when I'm like fully conscious, you know?
Yeah, because he'll get you on them late night calls. Hey, man, you know, you think you can Friday at 11 o'clock at night. Hey, man, you think you could come on to the Jaguar Journal? Yeah, I'm gonna need you on the front A block. Yeah, I need you there about 7:30. 7:30. Yes, yeah, 7:30. Yeah.
In the AM.
In the AM, okay? In the AM. Hey, so I'm gonna call you after this show because I saw your missed call, so I'm gonna call you after the show. All right. Make sure y'all tune in on Friday with me and my boy Zoe. We're gonna be on here as well. All right, and hopefully a special guest as well. Now, guys, listen. It's funny how this came about, right? This came about really, really funny. We were on the phone. We was all politicking, and we were probably on the phone for a good hour and a half. And I was like, man, I think we really should take this conversation to the platform so that we can have it in front of everybody else and just kind of get everybody else's thoughts. You know how Perry is just, you know, let's live it to the people. Let's leave it to the people. You know what I'm saying? And you know, when you're talking FCS football, there is nobody better than the boy Blue. All right, the walking encyclopedia, boy wonder. Right. So that is the question today. What it takes to win. Now, again, you got when you're looking at FCS spaces, you got to look at it in multiple pockets, right? And I think the biggest thing, Blue, is what is winning to that program, right? So, but what we're talking about today could somewhat apply to everybody. I think that we're hitting it on a diaspora of everybody and focusing on certain things that I think that really, really great programs do that can translate to lower programs as well. What you got with that, Blue?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, man. I'm glad you put it like that because let's just be realistic, guys. National championship isn't the standard for every program in the country.
Facts.
Like, let's just be honest. If I hire you and it's Stetson, UAPB, Abilene Christian, you're probably not winning the national title, right? You're probably going for conference titles, rivalry wins, whatever. So I think it's level setting that this isn't just like a one shoe fits all. And also for the sanctity of the conversation, because Scotty already know what's going to happen. This is going to get clipped up. And then there's going to be 950 comments about why North Dakota State's a state-run institution and it's the flagship school of the state. So all those schools, Idaho State, North Dakota, South Dakota State, North Dakota State, just remove them from this conversation, guys. This is a conversation about the FCS in these programs. So, and also too, we're going to talk a little bit of coaching. If we mention your coach for an opening, don't get sensitive. If your coach sucked, we're not going to talk about them today.
Come on,
so if we talk about your coach today, it's because they're a good coach. If we don't talk about your school or coach today, it's probably because your coach isn't very good.
I think Tremaine just said that not too long ago. I'm just saying, listen, if you're not being talked about, it's because you're not a winner. Perry, in the diaspora of FCS, what are some of the things that you have seen that is just like, I wish that would change, or because for me, And I'm gonna be honest, and Perry thought now, Blue, I'm glad I got you on here because we didn't talk about this when we was on the phone. And Perry, I'm gonna toss it to you, Perry. I think the FCS playoffs should be a northern region versus a southern region. And this is why I say that. Let them Montanas and Dakotas, let them beat up on themselves and give the South region an actual shot to slide up into the playoffs. Because when you put North Dakota on one side of the bracket, you put Montana or South Dakota State on the bottom side of the bracket, they just choo-choo train everybody and they meet up in the championship. But if you make it a North region and a South region, then you have it, one, traveling is better for everybody. And then you give opportunity to people who are trying to make it.
Scott,
yeah.
What I want you to do is start all the way from the beginning on how this even blossomed into what it is. From that text message asking you, and I asked, why do you think people at HBCUs automatically say a white coach from a PWI FCS school would turn down and say this is a step back?
That is the question.
And I'm so curious, and that's how all of this blossomed to where it was, because on Monday on the show, I mentioned two coaches, Bobby Wilder at Tennessee Tech and Mike Jacobs at Mercer. Then, of course, Joel Taylor at West Georgia. But then I started to see everywhere where it was making its rounds, I kept seeing where people would say, well, a white coach coming to an HBCU, one, why would they do it? And two, that seems like a step back in their career. And for me, looking around at the conference, I'm like, well, I thought we had so much value that we bring with the attendance and, the support that we have, that it really had me open my eyes to saying, do people understand really what FCS looks like as a whole, besides in the realm of HBCU football in the SWAC and in the MEAC? Because all I kept seeing was this a step back. Who would take that job? Why would they even come here? And then it opened the eyes for where you and I had a conversation, and I did my damnedest to try to sell you on it, didn't I?
Boy, you was out there lemon lot. I mean, as is, but it's a beauty. Boy, I'm telling you, get on the road, it can really go.
Because the conversation was, okay, it really had us have a conversation of separation in FCS. Because if I talk about a Tennessee Tech and a Mercer, right? Two programs who right now are doing well in FCS. But then when we talk about what does support look like for Mercer, Tennessee Tech, Tarleton State, whoever else is doing well in the top 25. But the first place I started was going to games, dealing with attendance, and television time. Because I thought about it, the SWAC has led attendance for how many years in a row?
A lot.
Like 40 plus?
A lot.
Yeah.
Undefeated, unbeatable. So the crowd is there for the interest of SWAC football, but SWAC football doesn't necessarily give you high-level FCS football.
Absolutely.
So if the people who play in high-level FCS football, away from what the schools you named, the Dakotas, the Montanas, the Idahos, is them, then it's everybody else. And everybody else is the rest of the teams across the country that if you see them with a good team, they can typically make it to the first round, second round. Maybe somebody can stumble into the semifinal, but by the time you get there, who you got to see? The Dakotas and the Montanas.
The Montanas and the
So championship isn't built for everybody, but going on a good championship run seems to be the end-all, be-all that typically happens for a lot of programs. So for me, it was like, well, damn, do people even understand that there's levels to FCS the same way as levels to FBS? Power 5, Group of 5. Have we ever even looked at it saying, you know what, on the FCS level, it's the same thing? And if we're in the Group of 5, where are we in the Group of 5 if I can't even get a coach who's coaching at Tennessee Tech to come to Southern, right? Because people in their mind are going to say it's a step back. But one, to start where the conversation went was, okay, would it be wise for a coach to say, I'm winning somewhere, but nobody cares because they're not showing up to the games? Would it be wise for a coach to leave and say, I want to go where the fans are be, where I can get 30,000, 40,000 fans at a game? Second, television time. Of course, let's use a place like Southern. You get the opportunity at NBC, ESPN, HBCU Go, and even SWAC TV and whatever other streaming service. So you have an opportunity for your profile to be put out there demonstrating the work that you're doing with the program. So those were the selling points I was trying to sell to Scotty, saying, well, if you're going to elevate it, then what was told to me was, well, how many people actually get a chance to elevate? And who were they, Scotty? We named Willie Simmons,
Jerry Mack,
Deion Sanders,
Jay Hobson.
Jay Hobson.
That's it.
Mostly everybody else gets fired from the job.
Yeah.
So it was saying, well, if you do a good job, maybe you can sneak through the door like a Jay Hobson who went to Southern Miss. Maybe you can sneak through the door for a person like Willie Simmons, who went on to be the running backs coach at Duke, then go on to be the head coach at FIU. So I was trying to sell it that way, but then it went somewhere else to where if he wouldn't come here, what would stop him? And that's when Blue came in to save the day, saying, listen, let's take a place like Tennessee Tech, and this is where it's finna go.
Yeah.
Let's take a place like Tennessee Tech right now.
Before we go there, I want to touch with Blue, because Blue has these conversations. You talk to a lot of these FCS coaches. You talk to a lot of these programs. What does it mean for them in why they are at where they're at? Because they could possibly go to an HBCU school with more pay, but not have the level of competition they deem worthy. But you talk to these guys, I don't want to put no words in their mouth or your mouth, but what are some of the things that you've heard or feel?
Well, one, and I think Perry can kind of speak to this too, is a lot of the times they don't get the calls for those jobs. So, like, what's the true percentage of coaches who are from white PWI schools that get those offers? Like, and I heard Reggie Flood the other night, and he made a really good point on Rocky and Mr. Campbell's show about the head coach at CELA, Southeastern Louisiana, Frank Selfo. He would never come to Southern, even though he makes less. Southern has never offered the job to Selfo, would never reach out to Selfo, and I don't think anybody would ever put him as a candidate. And what's funny is I called 4 people after our conversation and told them, was like, hey man, like, what would you say if you heard Bobby Wilder was up for the Southern job? All 4 of them said, who told you that? They would look at Bobby Wilder for the Southern job. None of them believed me. They were like, there's no way Southern would think that's far outside the box and go get a guy like Bobby Wilder. He doesn't check any of the boxes, right? He's not young. He's white. He hasn't coached in HBCU football. Like, he doesn't check any of those boxes that you would typically consider, right?
Yeah.
But has Bobby Wilder, he's been coaching forever, right? Was at Old Dominion, has been in the SoCon, been in the OVC Big South. How many HBCUs do y'all think he's heard from? And that he was a legit candidate from? We have a coach inside HBCU football, Matt Leone, who has only heard from one, from what I was told. Only one. And he's the OC at arguably the second best HBCU program in HBCU football right now in North Carolina Central, if not 1B, right? You could put them and Jackson there together.
Yeah.
They've both won one Celebration Bowl. They both are at the top of their conference every year. Why hasn't he heard from more? That would be the right. He has all the ties with Southern.
You're right.
He's been on the staff. He knows what it takes to recruit Louisiana. He's been in Florida, which is a big recruiting pipeline. Well, I would figure he would be a bigger candidate, right? Already in the space. But then, Scotty, I'm going to be honest with you. I think coaches inside the HBCU space also don't do it. It's rightful due, too. I've heard from multiple head coaches, assistant coaches, former coaches from the SWAC specifically that just says, man, like, you just look for your first chance to leave. They were like, because if you get stuck here, you get stuck here.
That, man, I've heard that from so many.
And it's like the sneaky little secret that everybody knows is being said behind the scenes. But then when someone says it publicly, they get, everyone's like, why would you say that out loud? Like when Tremaine Jackson said it on the interview, he said, man, there's just this perception of like, man, if we get stuck in at being just an HBCU coach, you're not going to get those opportunities outside of the HBCU space. And Scotty, me and you know Willie really well. Behind the scenes, that drove his move to Duke. And that was like 95% of the reason why he left FAMU. Mm-hmm. They could have offered him $1 million. And there was still been part of him saying, man, if I don't take this job, like I'm never going to leave.
Yeah.
And that is the really bad truth of it. And I agree with what Tremaine said. It's not really fair that it's perceived like that. But right now, that is the real case of a lot of these coaches just look like, and someone compared it to JUCO coaches. Once you're a JUCO head coach, once you're in the JUCO circuit for a while, guys, you're just a JUCO coach. You're not going to get any offers from other college football programs because they just look at you as a JUCO coach. And does that translate outside of the JUCO world? And that's how it was put to me by multiple coaches who have been in this space for a long time.
I think that's a great point what you're saying, Blue, and it goes back to the point where with Perry, I think when you hear from both sides, it's like telephone, but the line ain't connected, right? Like it's like you have your perspective of what it is, and then HBCU people have like PWI, FCS has their perspective, and then HBCU has their perspective, and each one is telling the other what they assume is going on, with nobody's really having the communication. Because again, and I love Coach Cole, but it bothers me when he tells me that HBCU jobs are for black people. And I'm like, no. There are opportunities for black coaches, but they just shouldn't be given on a platter because you're black. Like that to me is stupid. Like at the end of the day, you want your program to elevate. So if the best candidate is a white candidate, then why is he not? And I hate it when I hear HBCUs and alums, oh, that would never happen. Oh, a white coach at this institution? Oh, yeah, that would never happen. And it bothers me because, again, I'm not saying that PWIs don't feel the exact same way. I'm not saying they don't. But at the end of the day, I'm not, and that would, if I was at a PWI, I would say the same thing. I'm not going to limit my pool because of the color. I'm going to get the best football coach possible to take my program to another level. And I'm going to keep bringing it back to Alcorn with Jay Hobson. If they never go get Jay Hobson, they're never in the position that they were in. Perry, am I wrong on that? Because you told me you could throw a pin and it wouldn't hit nobody at Alcorn.
You're 100% correct.
So if Alcorn doesn't, and again, all these, in Blue, please let's keep it a buck. All FCS jobs are stepping stones. So when people say
all P4 jobs are stepping stones,
come on,
outside of like 4, like Ohio State, Alabama, and that really might be it, because Texas maybe.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, USC's a pipeline to the NFL with Pete Carroll, so that's a stepping stone to the NFL, and all of them could be stepping stones to the NFL. So college football is a stepping stone league because there's a league above us.
Yeah. I don't even think Michigan is like, but anyway, but the thing for me is that when people say, oh, well, they're just using us to get to that's what most coaching jobs are. They're stepping, unless you're getting a coach on the back end of his career where he's okay to say, hey, I'm here until I'm not here anymore. That's cool. That's fine if that's what you're looking for. But most guys, like you said, a Matt Leone, a young coach is not going to stop in the SWAC and just say, hey, next 10, 15 years, I'm right here. That's just not realistic anymore. But Perry, why aren't HBCUs open to bringing in the Bobby Wilders? Because again, you've been in this space for so long. Why is the notion that a white guy shouldn't coach here?
Because it was for us, by us, initially, when nobody else said we could have an opportunity to go play somewhere or coach somewhere or get an education from somewhere. You know, that was the mission. That was the understanding of why HBCUs have a presence in today's society, because of the opportunities that it gave to build black middle class and give black people an opportunity that society otherwise deemed and just simply said no. So I can see how that resonates to today's time. But at the same time, it's not like HBCUs are so black that white people don't work there at all. If you get to some of these non-revenue sports and look around HBCU athletics,
they're not black.
You will see a white soccer coach here. You will see a white golf coach there. Like, just a white softball coach. Is when it comes to the football. Even you'll have somebody working in athletics and maybe compliance or whatever else that's white. I guess it's the fact of being the face, because we had this conversation. The 3 highest paid people at an HBCU most likely is going to be starting with your president. Number 2 is going to be your athletic director. And number 3 is going to be your head football coach, who is going to most likely be the face of the school, who you're looking to be an ambassador. Not only put butts in the seats in the stands, but if football does well, he puts butts in the seats in the classrooms as well, because his job is to be the front porch of the institution, to generate interest, generate excitement, and bring people to say, I want to go there. And that's simply what a football coach's job is, and why you see so much money going into it these days, because of the interest of what happens when you win. Now, how the conversation got to this point was most black people automatically write it out their head, no matter if they think the coach is good somewhere else, why would he want to come here? And that's kind of how it's like, well, why not? If we see so much value. And then it opened the door of, really, let's take a look at why Bobby Wilder, who's at Tennessee Tech, would say no to a Southern job, aside from all the reasons why I was yelling. What about attendance? What about the venues and the places you get to play? What about the television time? But then it had us open and peel back and say, it's more to the layers that a lot of people don't associate when it comes to what an FCS football program playing at a high level on the FCS side look like. And as we got to peeling back the layers, it went beyond just the salary of what the head coach was making.
Yeah.
It went to the salary of what the program and the staffers were making in order to have this type of success. And this is where I pass it on to you guys, because this is where the conversation truly blossomed, because it opened my eyes like, damn, who getting paid what? This person getting what? How many people they got doing that? And it was like, if this is something Southern says they want to be in this moment of looking for a head coach, do they even understand what it takes to even build it? Because you fired 2 coaches back to back, which, what's my return on my investment?
Yeah.
I invested into these coaches. I got nothing in return. It was a bad investment, and I'm paying out for something that I got nothing in return. Well, if I keep some of that money and realize what it really takes, if I'm moving forward, if I have looking for my next head football coach, what does it look like to be an elite FCS program? And I'm not saying a good SWAC football team. I'm saying an FCS football team, because I'm in the state with other FCS teams: Northwestern State, McNeese, Southeastern, Nichols, and Grambling. That means at any given time, aside from the FBS schools, I'm recruiting against all these guys in a talent-rich state like Louisiana. But if I go to all of those schools not named Grambling, and they say Southern is one of the schools, hey, first thing coach gonna say, every time we play them, we whoop their ass. So why would you want to go there?
So let me cut in here real quick, Pete, and I'm gonna toss it to you, Blue, because I want you to break down this. You have a really good relationship with this coaching staff. This is my issue, and I want to say here, HBCUs aren't hiring 39 coaches or staff members. I want to take it back to a time. I remember a time where, when I first came into the space, Connell Mader had just won the spring COVID championship, and he had gotten an extension. And his extension, I believe, pushed him to about 325, 330. Now, my personal belief was, why would you take that in your salary when you couldn't stop a nosebleed? Why not get that money and funnel it back down to your staff, to where you can add a better defensive coordinator? Because I can pay him 6 figures. I can pay him 110, 120, when the defensive coordinator is probably making $80 or $90, right? I can pay him maybe 130. I can probably add another grad assistant. I can probably add another, assistant coach, or all these little different things. My thing, what my issue is this, and why I always believe in grabbing a D2 or D3 coach and moving them up who has won, is because I can pay them less than the 220, 215, 230. I can give them about 175, 180. And then the rest, I can tell them, hey, listen, go get the best staff you can assemble to help you. Because again, the only way you move up is with wins. If you don't win, you don't go nowhere. So, Blue, break this down for us. Kind of give the landscape of what Tennessee Tech looks like and how they go about it. You don't got to go into the weeds, but just kind of give the lay of the land of how they make this work.
Yeah, one of the biggest things for Bobby to come back to coaching, because he took a little bit of a break after that Old Dominion run, was to really push for a bigger support staff, especially in this age of collegiate athletics, but especially with the portal, right? Because especially with the new rule change where you only get one portal window, man, you better be nailing your evals with there. But I think you can ignore the first part, right? That's just basic coaches. Every staff has those. A lot of staffs have that second one, maybe not the assistant quarterback coach, the assistant D-line coach, all those different positions. And I think some people do multiple ones of these jobs. I think it breaks down to closer to maybe 30 or 31 total people. But I think the biggest ones are the recruiting assistants, man. They got 8 recruiting assistants, a director of scouting, a director of operations, and on top of that, a general manager, director of player personnel. And I think those are like the key positions right now in today's age of college football, because you have to be scouting during the season if you're going to keep your program you have to know it. I was told by a coach, if you find out a player hit the portal when he announces, you already lost a player.
Wow.
You have to find players early. And you know what's funny? I've had 3 different coaches on different FCS coaching staff say they read my website just to get a tab on what players are good or what players are not. That way, is if they find out they're hitting the portal, they know who they need to prioritize and who they don't, and who was a contributor, what they did at their past university. Like, they're scouting people throughout the year. So when the portal window opens, and they already got a spreadsheet with all these names. So if a kid hits the portal or they get word of kids hitting the portal, guys, they don't have to go back and watch the film. They don't have to go back and get the stats and build all these different things. They just know who this kid is. They know who they need to contact. They already have a relationship with this kid, potentially based on high school recruiting, whatever it may be. I think that's the biggest thing. And I think Gerald, who's over at Morgan State, also writes for the website, talks about, man, getting you a general manager, director, or player personnel is the biggest thing that you can get in today's age of college football. Because if you can't recruit your own roster, you don't even have time to recruit other rosters, man, during the season, and you're already a step behind. And guys, Perry can probably break this down. How far behind did it seem like Southern and some other programs in this conference were in the transfer portal? How far behind were they in terms of scouting talent? How many misses did they have? And how many impact guys did they get out of the transfer portal that were FCS contributors at other FCS schools? Not many. But there are programs in the SWAC that are doing it right. Jackson's out there. Man, what is Jackson's hit rate right now on transfers? Like 60, 70%?
Yeah, easy.
Man, they're doing it. And I think you see a handful of programs with similar resources doing it at a high level. The biggest thing, man, is finding somebody to scout other rosters and being able to increase your hit rate in the portal. PV did it this year. And how many of those players on that defense that's so good right now were transfers with Tremaine Jackson?
Yeah, half his stat. I think like 80% of his roster is transfers. I remember when he made that post and it went super viral on Twitter about, his requirements and how he's doing it like this. And again, and I'm gonna say this, P. I'm gonna let you have it. When all your staff is 45 and up, 50 and up, there's not a lot of guys willing to spend the wee hours of the morning scouting and going and talking and doing all this. I've talked to a person from Jackson. They said, Scotty, TC says, if you can't recruit, you can't be on my staff.
Yep.
Because again, guys are wearing multiple hats. And TC Taylor came from the Rick Comedy tree to where he understands how important recruiting truly is. And I remember when I interviewed Javancy Jones and I interviewed the White Tiger, they both talked about how Comedy had coaches come up north and was talking to him and say, yo, we need you. Even with all the stuff that was going on with the White Tiger, he said they believed in recruiting and they were going to get. Javancy told me a time where I believe he said they had the number 1 player out of Detroit. They had the number 1 player out of like Michigan. They had the number 1 player out of Ohio. Like, that's the type of recruiting they were doing at a massive level in those Comedy years because they were serious about recruiting. Perry, I'm leaving it to you.
I guess when I look at this and bring it all together, it was, all right, Tennessee Tech is investing into support staff. Understanding, look, we got to recruit the transfer portal as well as we got to recruit the high school. And how much can you overwhelm somebody with so much recruiting on both levels, right? To build a staff and to have that in place with an infrastructure to understand this is the structure it's going to take with the investment for us to be successful on the FCS level. But it goes back to the question what I said before. even with all that, pushing forward, what's the possibility early on that Tennessee Tech gets past the Montanas of the world and the Dakotas of the world?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the season for them, no matter how great, probably go to the second or third round of the playoffs before they end up running into one of the flagship schools. But nonetheless, it is built to have success. Now for Southern, and I'm using Southern once again because this is the situation Southern is in. Let's go 3 coaches in the past 5 years. Jason Rollins interim, Eric Dooley, and Terrence Graves both as head coaches. Well, if I'm doing the process of hiring these guys, the type of thing that I want to hear that I think while we stuck in this bubble, Scotty, we don't understand what it takes to be a good FCS program aside from what it takes to just be a really good SWAC school, a really good SWAC program. But how often do we realize what we need to invest to truly, if Southern fans and Southern administration and people are saying, this is what we want a championship program. Well, do we truly understand what FCS championship program looks like? Because even as good as we think we are, we can still go to the SWAC championship and lose to the middle of the pack or the bottom of the barrel Southland Conference teams, don't we? And when that occurs to me, I'm always baffled. Why was when we played them like we played Nichols last year? It was like we played LSU.
Yeah.
It was completely horrible. So it goes back to, do we even know the simple, like, I don't have to say spend all the money, but do we even know the simple structure of what it takes to get the people in place and to do the jobs that they need to just have that structure? Because it seems as though anytime we play any of those FCS schools, they seem to be thinking differently in terms of how the program is managed at that time they play us. Now, when they play the other FCS schools, it's like a clash of balance. Either you got it a little bit better or not. But when they seem to play us, it's like we don't have it at all. And tell me if I'm wrong if you don't see that.
No, I agree with you. Blue,
Yeah.
if you could pull up, I know you got, I know you had the link. I should have pulled it up. I apologize. But if you could just pull up the salaries that these dudes are making, because when you brought it up on the phone call, me and P was like, "Yo, where's the small salaries at? Who's making these small? where are the guys on the meal plans?" And you know what I'm saying? But you get that. While you get that, Blue, let me know. I'm gonna take this call. Nick, coming to you.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're live, Nick.
Oh, bet. So look, one thing, I got like 3 things to say. One, I don't count. Perry just said the right thing. And what I think is true. I don't think we prepared to win in the FCS. I said this years ago. I don't know if you remember. I said this like 3 years ago on the call with you. I said when I was saying I wanted to play in the FCS National Championship. We nobody recruits to be the best in the FCS and the HBCU space. And it's clear to tell. Like, think about it. NCAT was dominant. I mean, dominant. NCAT was dominant. They went to whatever conference they in, and they looked like Bethune-Cookman from a couple years ago. NCAT went to a low. They didn't even go to one of the best FCS conferences. They went to like a medium to like slightly difficult FCS conference, and they can't win a game. Think about us when we played Southeastern. We played Southeastern and got routed. I'm talking destroyed on national TV. Southern plays what? McNeese and Nichols, they get routed. So, and one thing, there's another problem with HBCUs. We pay our coaches so little and expect them to do so much. Like, for example, when we were at FAM, I don't count, and I appreciate this, Coach Simmons. And I think a lot of HBCUs should do this. None of our coaches played at HBCUs, to my knowledge. So none of them were really on the whole, well, we need to do it like an HBCU. Coach Simmons, to the best of his knowledge, tried to do everything like the places he had already been and places he played at. My coach played at Bama. Coach Simmons played at Clemson. Black, while he was at FAM, was the only one that played at an HBCU. He played at PV, but he still moved like he was at a PWI. And it chops down to we getting what we pay for. Like, I hate to say it like that, but we are getting what we pay for as an HBCU. We are paying to be the best amongst HBCUs. That's really all we're doing.
Hey, Nick,
and you can sit here, you can chop.
Let me jump in here real quick because I want to ask you a question because we know where we're at. In your opinion, if you wanted your alma mater to take that next step, not even to really compete with North Dakota, but just to make a playoff run, what would you say to say, hey, for us to get to the second or third round of the playoffs, it needs to look like this? What would that recommendation be, being a former player?
One, I think the biggest thing is nutrition and funding. It's funding. Everything is funding. Because, I grew up in a house of people that played at Florida State. So I know it can't be like that. I know we can't have the millions and millions, but I'll be honest, Scotty, our nutrition bar at FAMU, the year we won the national championship, was a fridge with grapes, peanut butter, jelly, and bananas. And we had some Nutri-Grain bars, and we had like some boxed up cereal. And we had like a couple Gatorades. I got a homie that play at McNeese State right now. They have a real nutrition bar. They have like the weight program and the nutrition is probably the biggest aspect. And the discipline of it. Because, you just got to get coaches that's going to make things more disciplined. You got to have, my biggest recommendation would get coaches that are outside of that HBCU head mindset. Get coaches that's going to come in and be like, nah, we need to change all this shit up. Like, this shit not working. This is some HBCU stuff. We need to change it over to move them. I know it may sound crazy. You may call me Uncle Tom or Coon. We need to move more like the PWIs when it comes to running out athletics. Because there's no way a dude should come in at 178, 180 pounds, and he got the frame. He's 6'3". We had a receiver come in when I was there. He came in at 6'3", about 180. With that frame, you should leave at 6'3", about 200, 205. He left at 195, 190. So my biggest recommendation would give more money to the nutrition and the strength program. Because I'm be honest, when we played Southeastern, we got punched in the mouth, Scotty. I played tight end that year. I want you to know, in the SWAC, it was easy as hell to play tight end. Like, I was nervous to play tight end when they first moved me. It was easy as hell because all the linebackers were my size. I went to Southeastern and played a dude that was legit 240. He was 240, muscular and strong, and was hitting. So my biggest recommendation is we need to get our players bigger, faster, stronger so that they can actually compete. Because that's really, it comes down to the trenches. Go look at every time an HBCU plays a quality FCS opponent.
You're right.
It's the trenches. It's only the trenches. The skill players, no matter where you go on any level, you could play Bama. A dude from, what's the dude at Jackson right now? The little receiver. He nice.
Nathan Rimbert.
He nice. Right now, today, if you gave him 10 targets versus Alabama, he's going to get some explosion plays. Just because skill. Skill out wide is skill out wide. But in them trenches, it matters. So when you go play, I promise you, Scott, we played Southeastern. 2021, we ran the ball a lot. We could not run the ball. We could run the ball all day in the SWAC. We could run the ball versus anybody in the SWAC. We lost to JSU that year 7-6. We averaged 5 yards a carry. We could run the ball versus anybody. And we played a team that was in the FCS that was putting up points, and we could not do it. So we need to get the strength and conditioning right. And other than that, I would just hire outside of the normal HBCU carousel. I will go get, like, the coach at Fair State needs a job. Whoever it is, I go to Fair State.
Dog, what did I say on the phone? I said I would take the whole family.
I go to Valdosta State. I get him. Dude, I go get them D2 dudes. I go get me some JUCO dudes. Because whoever running that's a JUCO in Kansas, I go give him a chance. I get dudes that's not familiar with the BS that this space has. Because that's really all what you need is a dude that's going to come up to your board and be like, hey, like, it's going to be my way or the highway with this. Like, we need this amount of money. We need this amount of time. And I need this much support. And I will give you some wins. Because I'm going to be honest. I don't know how Coach Simmons did it besides the fact he is a great coach. As we can see at FIU, he turned them around. But I want you to know, of my coaching staff, every coach, because I just saw what y'all from the board with like all them different, what's the dude, Bluebloods? He put up the little thing where UTM, was it UTM? All them, or Tennessee Tech, they had all them positions.
Yeah.
We had none of that, fam. I want you to know we had none of that. We had, every coach had an area they had to recruit. Every coach had some type of recruiting they was in charge of. They was on the road, but we ain't had no recruiting liaison. We had it 1 year with Riss, or 2 years with Riss. And Riss had a couple people on his team, but you walk in the building at them schools like Tennessee Martin, North Dakota State, because I know a kid that played up there. You walk in the building, you're not going to see everybody that worked there. If you walked into our field house, you saw every single person that year.
I did.
You saw you could throw a rock and it could bounce off everybody that was a part of the football program. That is a problem, but we don't have the funding. We had a coach that was sleeping in his office the year we won that championship until he got paid. And then he got paid to move into his crib. Like, it's stuff like that, and we won. I want you to think, like, we were getting dudes and winning, and we had coaches not getting paid. We had players not getting paid, and they'll sit here and they'll tell you on these faces, "Nah, we need our black youth and our black talent to come back." Well, if you want your black youth and your black talent to come back, open up your pocketbooks, open up your checks, and donate some money.
Hey,
And don't be like it's to athletics. Donate it to the football program, because I want you to know HBCU basketball is atrocious. I don't even know how we will fix that. That is just atrocious. We don't have a shot with that right now. But football, we have a legitimate chance because there are players everywhere. There are players everywhere. All you need is a quality strength and conditioning staff, and the coaches need more help. Because I don't care. I know the dude at Southern. I had a friend that played at Southern. I know the dude at Southern. He played it for Dooley. I know Dooley and them ain't have help for real. I'm sitting on FaceTime, bro, and I'm looking at what they're going through. And I'm like, dang, like, well, I know we're finna beat Southern. Like, I know we're finna beat Southern. Like, I'm thinking we bad, and I'm listening to him, and I'm like, all right, well, we ain't as bad as I thought. So it's really just that. Because I got friends that played all over the FCS, bro, and they're loving it. Like, I got a kid at McNeese. I got to do the Sacramento State, North Dakota State, Tennessee Martin, and they're choosing all these places over staying home and playing at FAMU. And whenever you ask them what it is, they know, like, yeah, bro, y'all be with that HBCU BS, bro. Y'all be with that bull, bro. Like, I ain't trying to cut it out, bro. I mean, you need what you want. If you want to have your program running efficiently, one, your college needs to get people their money on time. They don't want to have to deal with all the BS. They need to be able to eat when they want to eat. Because everybody can't be like me. I gained 20 pounds in college, but I stayed in my hometown. I was getting my home meal cooking for my mama. Like, it's really just bad, man. It's not even bad football. It's just bad management. Everything is handled poorly. Everything is handled poorly. In the whole HBCU space, I love watching the games. I love going to them. I love the bands. I love the dancers. I love all of it. But when you chop it down to like logistics, the logistics of it all, it's all terrible. We mishandle money too much. There's no reason Southern AD should still have a job after all that happening. When all them coaches get fired. There is no reason he should still have a job. And I hate to be that type of person, but I grew up in a house where we call people out on their BS. He shouldn't have a job at all, point blank, period. He shouldn't have a job. There's a bunch of people that shouldn't have a job. There's people that still have a job. And when we had 26 players, we had 58 players ruled ineligible and went into a game with 26 of them ruled ineligible. And people from that staff still have a job. If you were at Florida State, you would be fired and banned from the campus. Like, it's stuff like that we just let slide. We just let it go. FAMU AD is under an indictment for fraud and on paid leave. If that was Alabama, office would be cleared. Pictures of your family in the trash. But they want you to tell a kid, they want a 4-star to say, nah, bump that. I'm just gonna do it for the culture. And that is one of my biggest problems with our community. Because I love being black, I love my black community. But we ask too many people to sacrifice stuff to just go along with the crew. And I'll be honest, I ain't going for that. As an adult, as somebody in the free world, as a coach, as a personal trainer in the North Florida area, I got some kids that's probably FCS talent. I'm trying to get them to any FCS right now besides an HBCU. And it hurts to say that because I went to HBCU. HBCU gave me my platform. It gave me everything I could have asked for. I got rings. I got money from it. I got jobs off of it. It gave me everything I love. But all I know is I'm not gonna send the kid to go through what I went through. Because there's not many dudes I saw a lot of people go home just because they couldn't deal with the BS. Like, y'all may not see it. Blue probably know more just because he's more in tune. I've been tuned than him, so he probably has seen way more dudes. Like what's the dude that played for the Redskins that played at Alabama State?
Ja'Cory Merritt. Ja'Cory Merritt.
Yeah.
If Alabama State was a better program that could have handled it better, they could actually claim him. But now they'll just post him like, yeah, he played for us. That's what happens with a lot. You see a bunch of dudes that leave HBCUs, they go to the league. Them HBCUs post them like, yeah, that dude played for us. No, don't try to claim him. You mishandled that. You mishandled it. He wouldn't have left. He wouldn't have left if everything was going right, everything was handled right. Because you don't leave from where you're comfortable at. That's just human instinct. If you're comfortable, you're gonna stay there. So people ask like, oh, why is everybody moving up for better? Why is everybody moving up? Why do they think the grass is greener? Because 9 times out of 10, it may not show that you may not get the reps, you may not get the play time, but the experience outside of football probably is 10 times better. I know your money on time, you're eating good, and your living situation probably better. I got a bunch of dudes that left. Think about this. Did anybody watch the Sam Houston game? They just lost by a field goal. Like last week. It was last week or 2 weeks ago. Sam Houston that lost on a field goal. There's a kid named Chris Reed that scored 2 touchdowns. He wore number 2. He played at FAMU.
He's a wide receiver, right? I think that was Rez. That was Rez's gig.
Yes, he played at FAMU. And now he's at Sam Houston eating good. I ain't gonna disclose my bro the NIL situation. He got good NIL. That's another thing. I don't count. No. That's what we need. Strike everything else I said. Get NIL, you'll get what you want. Adam Black, the people that donate all that money at convocation, that's giving 25 racks to the AKAs, they giving 40 to the Noops, they giving 30 to the, because we're not athletic schools. And that's the one thing that a lot of people who are HBCU football fans don't want to hear.
I gotta cut you off on this one. I disagree with you on the NIL. Because if you just told me everything about logistics and everything about infrastructure, that's putting the cart before the horse. Like if you don't have the logistics if you don't have the infrastructure, NIL should be the last thing you focused on, right? Like you got to get the foundation built right first, and then once you got the foundation built right, then you can supplement the NIL and kind of because again, we've had this.
You change the foundation though.
That's what we on here trying to talk about.
What you bring? What you get a jackhammer because they gonna hate Scotty. They gonna hate that. If you get a jackhammer and you just go and just clear the whole thing, because that's what you need. Majority of these schools, you need to get a jackhammer, clear everything out, and get some new leadership. A lot of these schools need new leadership. Honestly, truly. And sometimes the leadership may not be what people expect. It may not be the dude that you want to see, or it may not be the woman you want to see. It may not be the person that you support. They may not have the same political beliefs, same political views. They may not have, but what I learned as an adult, and what my father used to always tell me, because I'm stubborn, he used to always tell me, he's like, you're going to have to shake some hands you don't want to shake to get in rooms that you want to get into.
That's fair. That's fair.
And a lot of HBCUs, they quick to be like, nah, I ain't finna shake that hand right there. Like, nah, I'll just suffer in silence over there. I ain't shaking that hand. I'll be real with you, fam. You need to shake some hands. Fam, Jackson need to shake some hands. Valley need to shake some hands. Like all these schools we need to shake some hands. Like I'm sorry. You know this guy. Like, my dad worked for the lottery. He is the what is it called? He is the director of staff, or he do all the hiring and process, and he handle a lot of money for the lottery. I want you to know that man called FAMU for what's it like 4 or 5 months trying to get them some money. It was probably like 4 or 5 months. He had well over $500,000 for them, and he couldn't get a call back. Like he couldn't get a call back. Not that he couldn't get nobody to answer the phone. He couldn't even get a call back. I just want you to think about that. But with the new president, they've gotten a call back. But a lot of people don't like the new president. But with the new president, I know for a fact they have gotten a call back. They have had conversations with him. But under the old leadership, nobody gave my dad, would shake his hand, let him into the room, talk to him. And the lottery literally gives out money, Scotty. Like I know, I worked there. They give out money. They try their best to give money to institutions.
Hey, Nick, last point before I let you go.
What's up?
Last point before I let you go.
Yeah, it's just the fact, dude, we just got to be better. We got to get rid of a lot of these infrastructures, man. We got to clean house. We got to clean house at a lot of these places, man, and get new people in. And if it failed, I'll come on here and tell people I'm wrong. And I know I'm right with this one. We got to clean house, man. I'm tuned in to the show, though.
Hey, appreciate you, Brody. Hey, listen. That's one of those. But is he lying though? Blue, hit me with the salaries, and then we can go over the recap of what Nick said. But hit me with the salaries, Zach.
All right, who y'all want first?
Give me the offensive defensive coordinators.
All right, so let's see. The OC here is Brian Scott, and he is making $142.
$142,000.
Yeah.
All right, defensive coordinator.
Defensive coordinator John Allen. Wait, no, hang on one second. D line. Who's the D coordinator here? I believe it is John Allen here, and he is making 101.
All right, give me the general manager.
McMullen making 101.
Give me the running back coach.
Tyler Harmon. Hang on, it is loading on me now. 76.
That's nice. That's nice. DFO, director of football operations.
That's the same guy that's making 101. He does kind of everything. I will say this: the Sam Williamson, the D line coach, assistant head coach, is making 117.
Damn! Whoa!
Yeah. The safety coach making 142.
The safety coach is making what?
142. Frank Wilson, the special teams coordinator, making 142. And the special teams coach, Lazowski, is making 101. And just to kind of give full context, Bobby Waters making 330 right now as the head coach.
He just got an extension.
Yeah, just got an extension like right before the season.
Yeah, that's good money. That's good money right there. Pete, go ahead.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to ask. Give me some salaries to that recruiting side.
Those aren't public. I'm assuming they're probably the reason they're probably not listed on the website is because they're probably volunteer / like what is it, independent contractor contracts, and so those aren't subject to the same thing. Like these are all the full-time employees. Because I do know one of the scouts here, and I do think it's a more of like a volunteer type job. But also too, man, how good is it to put on your resume if you wanted to get into coaching that you were a recruiting assistant for a really top FCS program? And I believe the guy's about my age. If you're 28, man, how great would that be? You guys, if we were all looking to get into coaching, wouldn't you all want to be top recruiting assistants?
Absolutely.
For a top 10 FCS program?
Absolutely. And then and Blue, I want you to touch base on how, I won't say how, but how Tennessee Tech has pulled talent out of the SWAC and have them on. I mean, they have one of the best defenses in FCS football, and 3 of the D linemen you told me are from Alabama State.
Yeah, they are. They had the number 3 transfer portal class in the country last year. I believe they're averaging like holding opponents to like 1 point something yards per carry this year, which is like ridiculous. And I think it's like 50 yards per carry this year. And they landed 3 different defensive linemen out of the SWAC, all from Alabama State, a D tackle and 2 defensive ends. Both were projected starters or going to be projected starters next year. They land the starting quarterback from Eastern Washington, and then the starting quarterback for Texas Southern and Jace Wilson was SWAC newcomer of the year. He's their 3rd string this year. So they got 3 starting quarterbacks because the guy that's also on the roster right now is Richie Munoz, who was the Weber State starting quarterback last year, transferred to Incarnate Word, and then transferred to Tennessee Tech. And their starting running back, leading rusher, came from Texas Southern. On top of that, too. So they got 5 players from the SWAC that all were starters last year. All of them but one are rotational guys. And they got this all conference safety / corner Andrew Smith out of Alcorn as well, who has 2 pick sixes this year.
And let me add this in there because I saw somebody, I see where we get that, we got to fight against the state for what we owe, right? No doubt about it. We know schools owe billions of dollars from prospective states.
Yes.
But while we're still going to fight for that money, how much money have we just let walk out the door for bad investment? Because the question was asked by Rocky on Monday, how many coaches have come and gone within the past 5 years? Was it between the SWAC and the MEAC or just the SWAC?
It was the SWAC. It was 20. I think it was 20 or 21 coaches.
Like
the SWAC alone.
Okay. Now let's just take, if it's 15 coaches, put that in perspective of salaries, or we're talking upwards from 100 to what, high $200,000. That is just rotating. How many millions of dollars in bad investment are we making that's just consistently rotating out of the door? Which I get, fight for the good fight, because at the end of the day, I do understand we are owed billions of dollars by a system that has not done right by us. Totally understand. But for the money that we do have, what are we doing to make great investment out of it, instead of letting it walk out of the door with nothing in return except somebody with a check getting cut to them and then leaving to go to another school and then getting another check from that school within the same conference?
Yeah.
That's the revolving door that I think we have to then open our eyes to is, yeah, we can fight for the money, but look at the money we just let walk out the door. Bad investment after bad investment after bad investment after bad investment with nothing in return.
And if let's just take what you said. I said 15 coaches at an average of $220,000. That's $3.3 million.
$3.3 million we letting walk out of the doors of our school with no return in the investment.
None.
Within the past 5 years. The only coaches I would say probably schools got a good return on their investment was FAMU. Jackson State for damn show.
Yeah.
Then who else?
Just in the SWAC?
Yeah, because Bama State's trying, but
yeah, I mean, but where they were to where they are now, they can count that as an increase to what they are now.
Investment is what I'm saying. Are you breaking attendance records now that we're winning? Are you getting the fans in the stand? Are you seeing an increase in apparel? Yeah. Are you seeing an increase in terms of applications for enrollment into the school? Because once again, we're talking about people who are typically your third highest salary on the campus. Now, what really got me as I was listening to those salaries was, you say how much Tennessee Tech Bobby Wilder's making?
$330.
Yeah.
How the hell does a coach at North Carolina A&T comes from the Division II level with no background of championship pedigree in terms of winning as a head coach, and comes in and makes damn near what this guy is making off top from previously making less than $100,000? Am I right? Was he making less than $100,000
at Fort Valley?
Oh, yeah, I would imagine.
Why do you throw that much money out there?
I be trying to tell people all the time that don't make no sense.
Then if it don't work out, which he's still, he's still on the table as year one, but it's what you're signing yourself up for with these high salaries. But once again, I pay you that much, then what's the breakdown to everybody after?
What's the breakdown to everybody
By
after?
the time I get to the goddamn position coach, he making $35,000 with a meal plan to the cab and staying in an apartment in the back of campus.
and you expect to get a high quality coach. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the issue.
And you want championship caliber to get the students there, but once again, it's the structure that's in place. Instead of doing it the way we've always done it, and I think the previous caller, Nick, said it best. It's trying to do it the HBCU way, which when you finally listen to somebody outside of the HBCU way, it don't mean they doing it that much bigger than us. It's just they have a little bit better structure on how they see it, because it's from a different lens. Because if I was coaching at UAPB, then I go to Prairie View, then I go to Southern, all I know is the same way everywhere I go.
It's just better than the last stop I was at, right? So it's just one of those, like, so if I started at UAPB, I won enough. And again, and I'm not saying, and I know Mr. Campbell he'll jump on and say, well, the SEC does it, right? SEC coaches do it all the time, where, like now, Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss, and people think he's going to go to Florida, right? Like, I get that. But in the landscape of where we at, that is not the same.
At least he coming in being a winner somewhere and being able to come in and say how we going to recruit, because who is Ole Miss? Who is Ole Miss? The same way like Vanderbilt. Like, who is Vanderbilt? But guess what? There's somebody now. Because you know what? They hired somebody to come in there with a structure. And I'm not saying are we gonna have all this money to spend? No, but if we blowing the money anyway, it's like you got the money, but you don't have the structure.
Yeah.
If you could ever get the structure to go with the money, maybe we can build with something here. But when a head coaching job comes open, how you ever gonna get the structure when the first names everybody yelling out, is a coach from somewhere around the league that has not did anything. The school did more for him than he did for the school.
That's fair.
When he left that school most likely the way he found it. He didn't leave anything elevated to make me excited to elevate at the next place.
I keep saying this, and I'm gonna toss it back to Blue. But I keep saying this, and I've said this for probably 3 years now. HBCUs, if they what did they say that happened to Kaepernick? They colluded, right? They all colluded. I think HBCU should collude on on coaching salaries. I really believe HBCU, especially the SWAC, should collude in salaries and say, hey, listen, we're not trying to, because all it is Bama's driving up to Mercedes living in the projects. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why am I paying you $220? Why am I paying Terrence Graves $225 and he's only won 2 Bayou Classic games? That doesn't even make sense. He should be getting paid $150, $170, and then anything after that is what you prove to me. Everything else, any extra money you need, it is to your staff. It is to build whatever you need to get you to where you want to go. That's what it should look like. But I'm going to keep saying this. All people do is come into this space. The Little Bills, the Alonzo Hamptons, the Bubba McDowells, all they do is come into this space, get a check, and they dip. And then they get passed around like a blunt to now you're going to different schools and they're like, hey, you want to try it? Hey, you want to try it? Hey, you want to try it? Hey, you want to try them? You want to try them? That's literally all it goes down to. And instead of saying what Nick said is saying, hey, let's go find a guy outside of our norm to see if he can make the changes. And Blue, what I'm going to toss it to you is this. When you What I think worries a lot of schools in the SWAC is they're really hesitant to give that coordinator a position, a job to see if he can turn a program around. But why are FCS programs a little bit more open to seeing and trying those coordinators out to see if they can make it to the next level, if they can be head coaches?
I mean, I think it depends on the program, right? Because I do think there's certain places that just have a culture built, right? And you don't want to have to tear down the culture and build a new one, or bring someone in new and have to teach them the culture and hope that they can continue it when they weren't around to build it. So I think that's why you see a lot of FCS programs that are having success. If they do have a head coaching change, they try to keep it where they have some sort of familiarity with that culture in place. And I do want to say two things. I do think some people in the chat, and even Nick to a point, we're getting a little bit off track, was one, we're talking about specifically HBCUs today because that's the point of this show, but I have a list about 20 FCS programs that this conversation can apply to as well.
Please,
so it's not just
please hit them up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure like it doesn't come off like it was just HBCUs doing everything wrong, because I could throw UC Davis under the bus. I could throw Rhode Island under the bus. Like there's a whole list of programs that have the resources that HBCUs don't have and have grossly underachieved as programs. And it's because of bad coaching hires. It's because of not putting resources where it needs to be. And they have the resources to do it, which is even more aggravating than the conversation we're having now. So I wanted to kind of level set there. And then also too, I don't think it's just the whole conversation, because it got off a little bit earlier where it was just white coaches. But I think it was your talk in the chat is you need to open, like, I don't feel like the coaching search is still expansive enough. Even if you don't go with a Bobby Wilder, guys, how many coaches that have HBCU ties that are outside of HBCU football right now did us three come up with on the phone call that we named that could be candidates that haven't been candidates? Like, why wasn't Joel Taylor ever linked to South Carolina State when that came open after Buddy Pugh?
So
that is unbelievable.
So he was. So Miss Campbell wanted him. But remember, she got into that transition period to where she was leaving and then the new AD was coming in. But she wanted him. I want to be very clear. So, yeah.
But like outside of him, right, we named a whole ton of other people that could be candidates that we have never heard linked to anything. But I think the problem that we're really trying to get at is not the race thing or the color thing, but it's more like, man, we'll go hire an Eric Dooley who's been around HBCU football, then expand our reach and go hire the defensive coordinator from Mercer.
And that was what I just saw here recently. I had a conversation today at lunch, and we was looking at somebody had posted 15 candidates for the Southern job. Out of that 15, 13 were all directly HBCU space.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, do we just literally go pick and pull from literally the HBCU space only? Like those are the, but I mean, you got guys in other places, you know, and I'm not saying a celebrity at all. I'm just talking about guys who
Just football guys. Football guys.
And it's just not the fact, and this is why I want to separate it, because when people say what's swag and going around, it ain't the fact that if you've been a position guy where you've been, but have you been one of the top position guys of where you've been? If you was the D coordinator somewhere, was your defense ever not cut? Because we get so caught up in ranking our offense and defenses and our players by HBCU. You may have been the number one defense in the SWAC, but what is that? You may not have been in the top 25 in FCS. You were just good within the conference. But do we look at the fact that there are guys out there who, regardless if they've been career assistants or coordinators, you can see the work that they put in terms of not just being good within their conference, they've been at an elite status.
Yeah.
Which is why Joel Taylor's name stands aside, because he's one of the best defensive coordinators coming from Mercer out of all of FCS.
Yeah.
Not just whatever conference, the entire FCS. And so that's the mindset where, let's use the Terrence Graves. Well, he's been a career guy, right, in terms of an assistant. But then when you peel back all the places he's been assistant, directly where he had his fingerprint on what was ever this top in whatever division realm that they played in, not the conference, but the division. The same way with Eric Dooley. Eric Dooley got here. What was Eric Dooley great at in FCS besides in the SWAC? That would get you to think that because he's been to all these places, well, all these places he's been, what mark did he leave? Like, right, you could talk about a Joel Taylor. He left his mark by having turned it around and making one of the best defenses in FCS football at Mercer.
But at the same thing, and Blue, it's the same thing when it comes to, you're not even willing to take the best person off somebody else. Like take the offensive coordinator from Tarleton. Take the defensive coordinator. Like, I loved when Eddie George went and got the OC from North Dakota State. Everybody was waiting to see that, because that's what we don't do. We don't go make that type of move and that type of mark. So to me, it's like, okay, cool. Go take a guy. Go take a chance on a guy who is a part of a top 25. That's why I'm always going to stand on the table for whoever is running Ferris State. They would have all my money. Okay, I will be out here. What do you need? Okay, we got chicken on Wednesdays. We got pot stickers on Thursday. What do you need? Okay, what? Because again, I want to build a championship program. You've done it. You've had the success. You've seen it. Why can't you bring it down here where we have great talent, great resources, or pretty good resources, and a flooding of fans? Like, that's the thing I think coaches love about. Again, at the end of the day, coaches want to coach ball, right? Yeah. But I think the thing that I love about the SWAC, because when I watched that FIU in Kennesaw, ain't nobody in the stands. I know it was a Tuesday. But ain't nobody in the stands. Ain't nobody supporting that.
And Scotty, think about this. Even when it comes to naming outside of the FCS realm, when you got HBCUs, particularly in the SWAC, saying, well, we're looking for a head coach, they'll go to D2, but they won't go no further than the HBCU D2s.
You're right.
You will see every HBCU D2 coach name, and it's like the rest of D2 don't even exist.
Like West Florida ain't ranked. Like, you know what I'm saying? In Florida, like West Florida, like, why would I not want to get that member from West Florida? Why would he not be on FAMU's list of a program he's built at West Florida? And if anybody remembers, they competed with FAMU a couple years ago into the halftime, and because that was the game people wanted Musa gone. That was the game that started the Musa talk to say, we need somebody better. We shouldn't be dealing with the D2 program in this form of
West
fashion.
Florida came to Louisiana and went to McNeese and beat McNeese.
And whooped them too.
But again, why are they not on? If I'm Southern, I can't beat McNeese. You can. How do we get you here?
Which is why I was like, Joel Taylor, you whoop Nichols' ass, good enough for me, brother.
well, like
because
this
if
is
you
what I
whoop
get.
Nichols, trust me, you can handle the SWAC.
This is what I get frustrated with because on one hand, someone's going to clip this and be like, man, these three guys are just shitting on the SWAC and they hate the SWAC. The thing that frustrates me the most is one of my good friends got into HBCU coaching. He's still on HBCU staff right now. He's from outside the HBCU space. He calls me every week. He was like, man, I love coaching in this conference. He was like, bro, he was like, to leave the game and hit the tailgate and get some food after the game and the fans are involved. And he was like, if I'm coaching the FCS, he said, unless I'm at one of the NDSUs, STSUs, bro, put me in the SWAC. He goes, I have fun. He goes, the pressure's fun because the fans care. He goes, you can coach at Utah Tech. And guess what, Scotty? You go 2-10. They don't care. Who cares if Utah Tech goes
2 and they still won't care,
bro? But go 2-10 at Southern and find out exactly what happens. You know what I mean? He said
the tailgate looking a little dry.
He said you stop getting plates at the tailgate. You don't get to go to the calf anymore. He said you got to get McDonald's. You're not allowed on campus. He goes, I love this environment, bro. To me, like, a lot of these ADs should value their universities more. Like, why couldn't you go steal the D coordinator from Tarleton? Why can't you go steal the OC from, and I'm just naming names, the OC from Monmouth? Why not? Why? Because you should value your program enough to say, we can do that.
Because the alums,
you should want to coach here.
The alums, the board members, and people close going to try to go to for who they familiar, who they know, who they coached against, who they played against, who's always been in the SWAC. Because literally every coaching job that comes up, the first thing you see is only, once again, HBCU space coaches. Either from the D2 ranks, like the rest of the D2 don't matter, or from the FCS, particularly from the SWAC and the MEAC. And it's like the rest of the FCS out there don't even exist. So you constantly get it's like the first thing you think about are those names. The first thing you say, well, those are the only people we need to look at. And our ADs have that same mindset because, once again, what does the business look like of building a FCS program? And I'm saying FCS because if I'm going to win a Celebration Bowl, I got to be better than SWAC good, don't I? Because if you see the MEAC against the SWAC, don't the MEAC typically hands us an L all time? They play FCS football. So if we want to be better, because if I'm going to be Southern moving, ushering in my next era, my whole point is to separate myself. There's the SWAC
and me.
And there's us.
There's me. Yeah. And we doing it different.
And to me, that seems like what Jackson State is trying to. That's the realm where it's like, hey, when we play everybody else, you can see the difference. It's us, then it's them.
See, I like this question, but I don't like this question because black people use it for themselves all the time. If a black person gets interviewed for a job, they'll be like, that was a sham interview. They just brought me in and they ain't even really give me an opportunity to get the job. It's the same thing for the white guys. If you just bringing in white guys just to say, I brought in a white guy, that's a sham interview. If you're not realistically looking at the opportunity for them to say, hey, I think they could really coach here, other than just saying, hey, I'm just showing my constituents that I did a national search, but I really want to go with this Bama over here, who I know, who I like, who is doing this and doing that. It's a sham interview. No, I don't care. It doesn't matter the color to me, right? It does not matter. It can be a black dude outside of the SWAC who's never coached and still getting a sham interview, right? So it doesn't matter. To me, it's about, are they giving legit opportunity to really have an opportunity to do the job? That's what it really comes down to, because I can interview whoever, and I'm not saying they're interviewing well or whatever. I'm saying I can interview everybody I want under the sun, but is it realistically that I'm really going to hire that person is another thing. Blue, I'm going to go to you and then I'm going to take a caller.
Can you pull up AJ's comment about Coach Brown?
Okay.
I want to say this. There were some things behind the scenes because, like, when I tweeted out his name, listen, I'll be honest, I had a source that told me he was reaching out before that job was open about that job. That's how I knew he was going to be a top candidate. Not every coaching hire works. You can check all these boxes and go outside the box. It's still a gamble. Like, you never really know who's going to be successful. Guys, you can go hire the head coach in North Dakota State. The first one they got hired went to Wyoming, Craig Bowl, didn't win anything. Chris Kleiman is turning K-State into a perennial top 25 program where the only person to be able to do that is Bill Snyder. So you just never know how it's going to work. It's still a gamble, and there's still external factors that influence, because also, too, Are you going through a conference change like Coach Brown was? Could he have potentially won in the OVC Big South? We never know. Probably not, because the program was really bad. It's still a gamble. Even if you go hire a good coach who looks good as a candidate, they still could not gel with the administration. They still could not figure out the recruiting trail. Like, there's all kind of differences. They can make a bad OC hire. Then the OC sucked. You look at Damon Wilson. He nailed the OC hire when he was at Bowie. Now he failed as an OC hire multiple times at Morgan, and it's going to cost him his job potentially.
Again, no, how you look at it, like Blue said, it goes to both sides of the coin, right? We get Ferris State. I could be on here champion Ferris State. He goes to Southern and they win 5 games. They win 3 games, or when it wins, because maybe the support of the administration isn't to what he had at Ferris, or maybe it's harder to recruit the kids he was getting at Ferris, the white boys that were on the O-line
from Michigan.
That were close to home, that didn't. Now the kids he's trying to recruit from Michigan don't want to come to Louisiana. It's too far. They're still
going to go to Ferris over Southern.
You know what I'm saying? It's little things like that you got to figure out. Hey, is this going to work in this demographic? Is this going to work in? That's why to me it's like, hey, you got a kid at West Florida who's killing it. Let's just move him over to FAMU, see if he keeps killing it. You know what I'm saying? You got a dude that's killing it at West Georgia. Let's move him down the pipeline. Let's move him a couple states over, see if it works. Like, some of that stuff is regional of what it is, right? So it is what it is. Any points before I go to the first caller? Another caller?
Go ahead to the call.
All right, Mr. Sergeant, coming to you.
Hey, Scotty.
What's going on?
Well, first of all, let me say, man, this conversation is, I don't even know where to rank this in terms of the great conversations you have had on this channel, on this, on YouTube that you've done over the years, man. But this, it's like, if you had Kofi here, this thing would just explode. It's just really amazing. So first thing I want to say is, Blue, Perry, first of all, thank you guys for joining and being a part of this call, or being a part of this program. Let me say this as a top. I can't speak for all the other HBCUs in the SWAC or in the MEAC. I can only speak to FAMU. And I want to remind Rocky, because he made a comment that you don't have to worry about FAMU airing out. You don't have to air out FAMU's dirty laundry. We will do it ourselves. We are very much at the throat of our presidents and our leaders all the time. We completely understand the problem at FAMU, which is the instability that we have in our leadership position at AD, and sometimes the instability that we have at the president level, at the presidential level. We saw it clearly over the past few years where our president got involved in the athletics too much, and we got the original big girl, and we should not have even done that. But even before then, he messed with the AD we had before. Over the past 20 years, since the century started, we haven't been able to keep an AD longer than 2 years, right? I mean, it's just, and that's our situation. To go to what Perry was saying, our infrastructure can't get set because we can't get our leadership on track. But the thing that really bothers me, and this goes to the point that you guys were making, is we have a lot of FAMU apologists out there. And what I mean by FAMU apologists is these aren't people who apologize or make excuses that our leadership isn't in play. They try to protect and cover and get in good with people who aren't doing the job, right? We knew there was something suspect with our current coach at the football level last year when we took the loss to Valley. We're like, something is wrong. Maybe this is the guy. And this year they tried to do all the, we can't ask him certain questions. We can't talk to him about this. And here we are coming into Halloween with only 2 wins, and one of them is against a D2 team, right? There are a lot of people who I want to call them, not even a lot, I want to say there are a few people who I want to call them low self-esteem rattlers, right? So when the position comes up for football coach or any coach, they don't look at certain people because they said, you know what? They wouldn't want to come here. They're down on themselves, and so they don't even try, right? Henry Ford said this: hey, if you believe the left or you believe the right, whatever you believe, it's right. So if we don't believe that person doesn't want to come, that person doesn't come, and we don't even try. But if we believe, and so that goes on to recruiting. Deion Sanders, no HBCU ever recruited me. So that means there are a whole bunch of HBCUs out there that didn't even ask. Well, Deion would want to come here.
Facts.
Right? So we got this leadership issue that we gotta fix at FAMU. I can't talk to Southern, brother. We gotta fix this leadership issue at the AD. You know, should we really be trying to hang on to this AD? And she's got kind of problems with the law, right? And I know it's very nuanced and stuff like that, but should we really be holding on to that person, right? Should we look to get someone else, right? We gotta get our infrastructure set and in place with the right leadership, you know, and then move forward. But without that infrastructure, I have to go back to what Perry said. We're not going to have a snowball's chance in hell. And you know what? I don't know what's happening at Prairie View. I don't know what's happening at Alabama A&M. I can't speak to what's happening at Grambling. But isn't it interesting, Scotty, that all of these HBCUs are having different nuanced problems with this, but the dysfunction is unilaterally across all HBCUs. That's just the thing I wanted to point out. Y'all keep the conversation going, man. I'm really enjoying this.
I appreciate it. You know, I think the FAMUs, the Gramblings, the Southerns, they have a pride, a self-image pride issue. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're not a FAMU guy, if you're not a Grambling, I remember that for a long time, for the first couple years, if you're not a Grambling man, you shouldn't have this football job. For Southern, if you weren't part of the Pete Richardson era and you were part of that Southern, like, you have, a lot of times you have to have a connection to these schools that I'm like, is that a benefit? Because I feel like sometimes it's really not, because, you know, people kind of manipulate, or people feel like they can talk over or come through. And I think the reason a lot of times they don't go with the outside hire is because you don't want to be told what you're not doing well. You don't want to be told of why it shouldn't look like this, or like Tremaine Jackson is, and I said this when he got hired, and people can say whatever they want. I said this. I said him being at Valdosta at a white PWI that is used to winning and having a standard of winning is going to be a different mindset when you get into the SWAC, because as a black man, at a white institution that won, you, my brother, cannot come in here and start losing. That is an expectation that a lot of coaches could not raise the bar to where he walked out as a runner-up to a national championship, which is Valdosta's standard of either being in the national championship or winning a national championship. And he did that. So now you take that mindset, that process, and you take it to a PV, you have to have everybody on board. That's why you see the videos of, why is the stadium not packed? Why are we not supporting this team? We're winning. The tailgate sold out. The RV lot sold out, but the game ain't sold out. Now, the game is trash. I ain't going to hold you. The game is trash.
Yeah, don't schedule Lincoln.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? It's trash, but I get the mindset, and I get the
But if it was Nebraska scheduling Northern Iowa, you better believe Nebraska fans are being there to watch them play Northern Iowa, who they would consider a tremendous step down.
Ohio State had it packed for Grambling. Okay,
it was sold out when I flew up to Notre Dame for that Tennessee State game. It was packed.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and ask them what they think about Tennessee State. That's like Lincoln to them. Like,
yeah,
wow,
it is. It is Lincoln. It is definitely Lincoln to them.
So
and
regardless
I think the guy who got arrested, Mark Sanchez, is it Mark? No,
yeah, the
Brady Quinn. Brady Quinn. No, Brady
Okay.
Quinn said, Notre Dame, we don't play Tennessee States. That he said that. He said, I don't like what we're doing here. Notre Dame's, we don't play Tennessee State. I don't care if Eddie Joy, like, that's the standard that they have, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a Notre Dame thing. But go ahead. Either way.
But they're showing up to watch some football that day.
Yeah.
What that comes the question of where this revolves to. What are we showing up to watch? Is it the football? Is it the atmosphere? Is it the band? Or is it all that put together?
Yeah.
Because they don't care about none of that. None of it.
The game.
Just football.
What the game going to be like.
What the game going to do. So for us, we have something that's wonderful, that the fact we got all of that and our fans want all of that. So once again, speaking back to Southern, is what is it that you want? Because you made the last 2 hires and it did not seem like you truly understood that these guys did not have a plan or a set structure in place to elevate you, because you make an investment. What is going to be your return? You got 0 return. You ended up in the negative, and it makes you look bad as an athletic director where a fan base is calling for your head because of what you've done, because it didn't get the butts in the seats. It actually taken the butts out the seats with 2 more home games. There's no interest there. The fans are not interested, but yet we're sitting here 2 coaches later saying, well, what do we get out of that?
Yeah.
All we're doing is seeing articles of saying what Southern owes 2 coaches. Southern in position, even if you want to fire the AD, how are you going to afford it?
You can't.
So we got to understand, and that's why I would say this to Roman Banks, anybody on the board at Southern, anybody who has influence at Southern, that's in each other's ear, who don't like anybody on the outside like myself. What is it that you want, since you say you want a championship program? And if you want a championship program, do you just want to keep shelling out money for just anybody? Or do you really want to do your homework and put the infrastructure in place to be a legit championship program, and not just in the SWAC, to be the top FCS school in Louisiana? Because first of all, take care of your region that's at home, because you're recruiting against these schools. You're recruiting against Northwestern State, Grambling, McNeese, Nichols, Southeastern. Not only that, then you got to recruit against Louisiana Tech, ULM, ULL, Tulane, LSU. That's 10 schools I just named that you trying to recruit, and you can't beat none of them not named Grambling.
Blue, let me ask you this before we move into the transfer portal. Somebody asked when we first got on earlier in the show, how do these programs get ranked in the overall FCS? And my question to you then, Blue, would be, what does it take for a Jackson to break out of that 10 through 30, that 12 and 15 range? Because usually that's where HBCUs kind of stay, because again, they don't really have the. Me personally, I see they don't play the teams that really will push you up above the 11s, the 10s, and the 9s.
So they don't have no ranked team on the schedule, period, until you get to the Celebration Bowl. Maybe
they might not be ranked. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when they're ranked 24th, 23rd, 25th. So if you lose, it's even worse. But go ahead, Blue. They wanted to kind of understand some of that, break down the rankings.
Yeah, I think FAM broke into the top 10 in 2023, and I believe Jackson did. And I think the year before they lost to South Carolina State, they didn't finish there, obviously. And I think FAM broke into maybe 5th in the coaches poll, which I don't really pay attention to because no one knows who even fills those ballots out. But I think the biggest thing for Jackson is if they keep winning, they'll probably end up in the top 10. But I really think the ceiling is probably 8 to 7 range. I mean, because let's just be honest. I don't care if North Dakota State loses to South Dakota State this weekend. They're dropping to what, 2?
2, easy. This
3, maybe if you want to put Tarleton or Montana at 3. Like the top 5 this year, and I really think like the top 8's pretty locked up. You got North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana State, Tarleton. Tennessee Tech's going to win out because they're going to beat everybody about 50 in their conference. There's nobody good in the OVC Big South this year. Monmouth is up there. Right now, they lost their starting quarterback, so we'll kind of see with them. Lehigh is probably going to finish undefeated, so they'll be above Jackson. So I think there's probably a hard ceiling this year, somewhere in like that 8 to 10 range. Maybe, depending on the playoffs, if somebody falls unexpectedly, they can maybe slide into like that 6 range. But I don't think you'll ever see a team finish top 5 unless they have a really, really tough out-of-conference schedule or lose the SWAC maybe and then go on a run in the playoffs and finish high in the rankings because of that run in the playoffs.
Can I ask this question to you, Blue? Aside from the Dakotas, the Montanas, let's just bring it down to the South or in the same region of the SWAC, right? In terms of in the SWAC's landscape from Texas to Florida, how many other FCS conference at some point enter that same region?
The UAC is in the region, the Southland, the SoCon, the OVC Big South. I mean, I don't know how far you want to extend it, but like the CAA, maybe depending on the team, and then 'cause you got Campbell in there in North Carolina, got the MEAC.
Well, let's
Yeah,
just take
like
those. What would you rank the SWAC in its region in football amongst those conferences you just named?
So you had
last,
oh shit.
like as a whole,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like
last,
out of the
yeah,
South.
last,
dead last within the same region. And why would
yeah.
you rank it dead
The
last in that region amongst those other FCS conferences?
Well, the UAC, you have Abilene Christian, a top 25 team. Tarleton's a top 5 team. Austin P is a top 25 team. Southern Utah just beat a ranked team last week. And then you have Eastern Kentucky that was in the playoffs last year. Central Arkansas, which has been a consistent playoff team. The UAC, I think, is the third best conference in the entire FCS. Southland, you have 3 teams that are top 25 teams right now. Stephen F. Austin, Lamar, and Southeastern Louisiana. 2 of those are undefeated against FCS competition right now. In Lamar and Southeastern Louisiana, Stephen F. Austin's only loss is an 8-point loss to Abilene Christian on the road. So not a bad out of conference loss for them. The OVC Big South, you have Tennessee Tech. I think the OVC Big South and the SWAC are probably about on par.
Okay.
The problem is like you have Alabama State, you have PV. Neither one of those, like Alabama State's not going to play a single FCS out of conference team this year. Their only out of conference wins are 2 D2 schools. They lost to UAB and they beat Southern in a out of conference non-conference game. So they really don't have the resume. And then PV is out here playing Lincoln, and I mean they lost to UTRGV, which is in the Southland, first time program. So you have that loss on your resume too. But outside of those 3 programs, everybody else is atrocious right now. Who
And
else is
why
good?
I ask that is because I want to give, because we got to get out the bubble, but the first step is
in your
busting
region.
it to introduce people to it. People don't even realize, most of our fans don't realize, is that many FCS conferences intertwining within our region. They think it's the SEC and then it's the SWAC.
Yeah.
Them the only games happening within our region on the Division 1 level, but there's so much FCS football that's going on. And then as you start to name those FCS teams that's on the upper echelon, let's just talk about the middle of the pack FCS teams that's there that you still feel could be better than the SWAC. Give us some of those middle of the pack. They may not be ranked, but every year there's somebody to watch out for within that same region.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like the Central Arkansas, the UT Martins. Like, I mean, UT Martins won, I think, 5 consecutive conference titles. They probably won't win it this year. They had a big turnover in the transfer portal, but they're a team that in out of conference could catch anybody on any given day. You got Chattanooga, who's always that mid-level right there competing for the playoffs level. I mean, Tennessee Tech is insane this year, but usually they're one of those mid-tier teams until this latest coaching change. Mercer, they lost to Presbyterian week 1, but man, they've went on a streak with that true freshman quarterback that they got out of North Carolina. He's just a freak. Austin P is right. They're at 25, so they're still probably in that conversation. Eastern Kentucky is always a playoff team every handful of years. Western Carolina is a really good team to kind of name here. They've been right on the cusp of making the playoffs. You got Teron Dickens at quarterback, who is unbelievable, but then their defense has been iffy. The problem is here, though, is all those teams have they've proven themselves outside of their own conference, winning games, competing with some of the top teams. They've made playoff runs, etc. I think the problem here is like Jackson's way up here right now. Like Jackson's a top 25 team. They're kind of carrying the conference. You have Bama State right behind them, but we haven't seen Bama State play anybody outside of Jackson.
We haven't seen Jackson State play anybody outside of them just dominating. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, for real. Like, if Jackson and this has always been my thing. If Jackson goes out and beats a Tarleton, if Jackson goes out and beats a Southeast Louisiana, if they go out and beat somebody from the SoCon or Austin P, that makes the conference look better, because if Jackson comes in conference and Bama State beats Jackson, then you can start looking like, okay, maybe Bama State could compete. It just little things like that help your conference. But if Bama State ain't doing it, if A&M, because A&M usually always played Austin P and they'll play those teams and Troy's or whatever, but they're not even doing that.
And my thing is it a structure that's in place at those FCS schools that seem to give them a leg up on us? Like, because none of those schools gonna win no FCS national championship. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Outside
But
of
they can
maybe
probably come into the SWAC and win a SWAC championship and go on to win the Celebration Bowl championship. So what is it in the structure that's in place, at least for the middle of the pack? These not even upper, just the middle of the pack FCS that's in our regions that separate them from us, that puts us at the bottom.
Well, I mean, they just win the games. I'll be honest with you. When I look at the rosters, I don't think Samford is 40 points more talented than Alabama A&M. Like, I don't think Nichols wasn't 50 points better than Southern last year. Like, are we being serious?
Yeah.
Like, Nichols was a terrible Southland team. They won 4 games, guys.
They didn't win another game after they beat us.
And they beat Southern like a money game in Baton Rouge.
They did the same to Valley.
Perry, wasn't it high school day for Southern that game?
That's what I'm talking about. Them high schoolers wasn't thinking about us that day.
All those high school kids, Scotty, got to go down and enjoy Southern, and they watched the football team get beat by 50. By an average Nichols team.
If you got local high school kids that you're probably recruiting against.
Yeah.
For them not only to play sports, but to go to school at.
Yeah.
Once again, it's about getting butts in the seats in the stadium and butts in the seats in the classroom. And that's what I'm talking about with Southern. Once again, I'm going to keep saying it because I got to say it over and over just in case they happen to catch it or somebody miss it. If you want to be a championship program, do you know how to do that? And first of all, if you want to be the best FCS, because that's what I would go after, because if you're the best FCS football program in the state of Louisiana, I think hands down, you're probably one of the top or the best FCS black college football team. Would you agree, Blue?
Yeah.
If you can beat teams like a Southeastern, like a Nichols, like a McNeese, like a Northwestern consistently, I can assume you're going to probably do very well when you take on the Pine Bluffs, the Valleys, the Bethunes, the A&Ms, because that competition is not what that is in the Southland, considering the SWAC is a drop down.
Well, look at the FAMU game. Like, that FAMU Southeastern game was so telling because, listen, it was on the road. But, guys, it's not hard to win on the road at Southeastern Louisiana. Like, you're not playing in front of 70,000 people that are screaming. Like, it just go it. Like, it wasn't a home field advantage. And, guys, do you know the amount of stars that were on that FAMU defense?
Pros.
The Marquise Bells, the Isaiah Lands. Like, they had guys, all conference, all American level guys at FAMU. Offensively, Bishop Bonnet, running back, Xavier, like, they had so many dudes on that team. Look at the coaching staff.
Bro.
They went to Southeastern and
it was a horrible game plan. Me and Blue came on the next day and said it was the worst game plan that I've ever seen Willie put on the playbook. It was raining, and you had Rashawn McCoy throw the ball like 30 times.
Bro, they scored every time they wanted to. It was like, what was it, 35 or 38 nothing, and they benched their starters, and that was the only time FAMU was able to cross to 50.
See, that's what I'm asking. Where's the separation? Because these PWIs that are in, it's not like they the next level, like they the group of 5 over us. And that's the part where I want to have this conversation where for our fans, you know, the first one, well, that's the white school. But it's not like that. Talk about Nichols. Is it like Nichols is head and shoulders over Southern?
No.
But yet when they play, it's just like, damn, we're not even
in the it's like you're D2.
I'll be scared to go play a year in the Southland to see what happened to us.
Ooh, Jesus.
Like, Northwestern State beat Alcorn this year, guys.
They stormed the field. Greatest game they ever had. Up in Natchez.
Guys, I cover FCS for a living. Off the top of my head, I can't name a single player on that Northwestern State team that's going to get all conference honors this year.
Wow.
I can't name a single player on that team in general. Off the top of my head. And they beat Alcorn, where me, you, and Perry can name about 10 players on that team.
And they pushed Prairie View, who probably going to end up winning the West.
Yeah.
And that'd be the point where it's been years. We got our ass whooped to Northwestern, McNeese, and guess what? We found ourselves in a SWAC championship while they was sitting at home, finished 5th place in their conference. And it's like, damn, are we that bad?
That's what just gets me frustrated is that, like, people say it's hating and, oh, they just want to, and then they'll flip it and, like, they don't bring no fans. We don't make no money. You just want to see us lose. It's like, no, I want to see SWAC football get better because it's my favorite conference to cover. And if I'm a player, and I told this to y'all on the phone, if I'm a player, if I'm coming out of high school right now and I'm getting recruited by Nichols and Southern,
It's not even close.
I'm not even answering the phone for Nichols. Why do I want to go to Thibodaux, Louisiana when I can go to Baton Rouge?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we talking about? And play in front of 77 fans when I can go play at Southern. I get to go to the Bayou Classic. I get to play in the boombox. I get to play all these big games. Even Alcorn Southern is massive, man. I had a blast when I went down to Baton Rouge for that game. Why would I not want to play there?
And that's what I was trying to sell when I was selling it to
Coaches.
Scotty. I'm like, bro, it's so much more. You want people to see what you do good. If I'm gonna be 7-0, I'd rather be 7-0 in front of 22,000 instead of 4,000. If I'm gonna go 7-0, I'd rather be on ESPN or HBCU Go or SWAC TV compared to just being streamed at that school where nobody even cares that the fact that you are 7-0. That was one of the areas that I was selling. But the first thing you get from people to say, and I saw it throughout this chat, why would they want to go there? Why would they want to leave and go there? And it's always like, if though, because they are a white school in some form of fashion, that it just seems like things are just better. But it's simple operations. That's the part where it ain't like they heads and shoulder and money over us in a lot of these places. It's just simply the structure of how it is set up for operations there. And that's the part we miss because we'll quickly blame it on, well, they got more money than us. No, they just know how to do shit the right way while you keep trying to do shit the wrong way. Mm-hmm. You keep trying to shove a triangle in a circle and saying, damn, we're just going to get in, and you keep trying. And it's like at some point you got to understand the structure that you need to put in place, because if not, we'll continue shelling all of this money out. Where we say, Scotty, damn near 20 coaches in the SWAC within the past 5 years that we've shelled out millions of dollars with no investment, no return back in our investment.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this before we move on, because I know you got to roll out P in a little bit. But my thing is this, right? At the end of the day, I'm always gonna stand on the table. I'm gonna beat my drum. I'm gonna use my bullhorn. The problem is not NIL. The problem is nutrition. The problem is foundation. The problem is people putting their hands into things they have no understanding of. And again, the issue when it comes to certain institutions is that it's got to be a buddy system. It's got to be who I know. It got to be connected and stuff like that. And again, a lot of jobs happen like that. I'm not going to act like they don't, right? A lot of jobs happen to where it's not what you know, it's who you know. But in certain aspects, that doesn't always work in the form of football, right? Because I'm looking for a good football coach. I need them to understand football. And I'm not saying every hire is going to be perfect or great or whatever, but you try to check off many boxes as you can to make sure you got the guy that you really need and that they have a plan to facilitate it. Because again, I'm going to always stand on the fact that no school in the SWAC should be paying any non-championship coach over $200,000. I'm going to stand on that. If you have not won a championship where you came from, I'm not about to give you the bag. It don't even make sense. You got to earn that bag, and your contract should be incentive laden to where if you win a championship, you come up and then you know you're going to get your extension and all that type of stuff. So,
and anything NIL shouldn't even be no conversation. Any money raised at that point should be going to support staff and facilities and whatever else you need to enhance the organization. Because now you got to change how you recruit. You trying to go recruit the guy that's coming down from the next level, right? What about the guy that's trying to come up from the bottom level? What about the D2 guy? What about the NAIA guy? What about that high schooler that you can develop, right? That guy coming in, he not asking for a lot of money because he ain't never had shit. He trying to make a name for him. And hopefully if he can come to you for a year or two, he may happen to get 1 year on the next level if he's good enough. Yeah. So you ain't got to worry about NIL on that level because you're bringing up guys who, guess what, come from nothing anyway. But if you're going to a guy who's already been spoiled a little bit, and Scotty, when I say 8:30, I mean my time, not your time. So,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So when you getting a guy who's been spoiled a little bit, I know what I just want to let you know. You got a guy that's been spoiled a little bit, let's say he's been at we got this former 4-star who transferred in from the University of Memphis. Well, you know what he saw at Memphis? Everything he sees after that is going to have to be some form of at least something he touched at Memphis. You get that guy that came in, let's say from Washington Christian, let's say Henderson. He didn't have much of shit at Henderson.
Yeah.
Coming to you as a leg up, being on television, all these, I can sell that. And in the process of us developing that guy, along with the high school guys, any money that we raise, it goes back into the program, fixing locker rooms, fixing showers, dietetic nutrition, training, getting extra guys to be able to help in recruiting in terms of recruiting high school guys. Because to recruit the transfer portal is not easy. People think all you got to do is go in there and see a highlight of a guy who had maybe 6 good plays where he come from. You say, oh, that's going to be the guy here. You have to really recruit these guys because that transfer portal is filled with thousands of guys. Thousands of those guys never going to play football ever again. So you just can't pluck and think that you're going to pull. You got to do your homework because just as much as you watch those highlights, watch that 15 minutes of shit that he didn't do good. So when he get here, you know what we got to develop him upon because we see the 3 minutes of that he good at, but we got to fix that 15 minutes of bad once he get here because that's when that kid is going to transform to be that star that we looking for.
That's a great point. Zach, what you got?
Yeah, and I'm going to say that maybe this isn't the most popular thing, but also too, all the programs we're talking about in the HBCU, like I would say, just grouping all the HBCUs together here, all of them have things that they're recruiting against, right? But everybody needs better facilities. Everybody needs more money, state funding. Guys, are we just ignoring that maybe the programs that aren't recruiting well just don't know how to recruit? And that's really like the thing that we just keep letting coaches skate by. Because guess what? Jackson has got an NIL fund, right? But Jackson's got other problems on campus and stuff like that. But guess what? They're recruiting their ass off as a staff.
Yeah.
And guess what? They are evaluating guys, they're getting them in, and they're all starting to contribute. North Carolina Central does it a different way. They're nailing all their high school evals. North Carolina Central's got the same type of problems. But guess what? They're out recruiting all those schools in North Carolina too.
Yeah.
And then you could even go to Tennessee State when Eddie was there. Yes, it was a little bit of a celebrity, but that staff was recruiting and developing players. They could do it in high school and or transfer portal. PV has problems, wants more money, more facilities. Guess what? Tremaine Jackson came in and his staff out-recruited everybody outside of Jackson in the portal. So it can be done. And that's the frustration is everyone's just like, oh, man, like, let's just make all these excuses on why Southern can't recruit the state of Louisiana and we get out-recruited by this and that. Jackson's out-recruiting everybody in Mississippi and and probably most of the Alabama FCS schools. North Carolina Central's out-recruiting a ton of the North Carolina schools. PV out-recruited a ton of those FCS Texas schools. So I don't want to hear it can't be done because all these programs all have the same issues. If it can be done in North Carolina Central, why the hell is Southern not has the worst receiving core in the country?
Yeah.
Hey, they say we ain't got no money, but we sure find it when we want it, though.
Yeah, sure enough, do.
Hey,
and I bet you Southern's got more money than Central right now.
Easily.
Got some money, don't. Hey, I'm telling people when we sitting on the phone yesterday when I said y'all just how much. Just tell me how much.
Tell me the number so I can go back and let people know how to break it down.
Because at the end of the day, we just simply, I feel, don't know what it looks like.
Yeah.
And we just want to go with a name. Okay, once I get aside from the name of the head coach, then what?
Yep.
What's gonna be next in place once I say Eric Dooley? All right, now what?
Yeah.
Y'all have been to South Carolina State, right?
Yeah.
Y'all saw those facilities. Y'all seen that campus. Guess what? That didn't stop Buddy Pugh or Chinnis Berry from bringing in some dudes.
Nah, and they getting a new weight room. They getting a whole new player. They're just building a new player facility lounge up there.
Can I ask you something, Blue? Let's use Louisiana's perfect for this conversation. Operation budgets, Southern's compared to the other FCS in the state of Louisiana. Do you think anybody operation budget is higher than Southern's?
I doubt it. Maybe McNeese.
And they have been making improvements to facilities.
They just suck. They're just terrible. Like that's their problem. They got the facility. McNeese, you remember how I talked about that FCS list of underachievers?
Yeah.
McNeese is on that list. They might be like one or two.
But I wouldn't be surprised if McNeese goes. See, this is gonna be crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if McNeese goes and gets Felton Huggins from Kentucky State because he was a former recruiter and running back. I believe he was a recruiter and wide receiver coach at McNeese and what he's doing at Kentucky State, I would not be surprised if McNeese goes out and goes and gets him and brings him back as a head coach. I would not be surprised at all.
You know what's crazy? Southern's operating budget right here. So this was the FOIA. This was from 2024, I believe. They were 22nd among the ones that were available, right? There's a ton of private schools, so those weren't available.
Yeah.
22nd in the country. They're above Townsend. Their operating budget's bigger than South Dakota.
Who will whoop our ass?
Chattanooga, Southern Illinois, Austin P, Tennessee Tech has a smaller operating budget than Southern. Youngstown State, ETSU, North Carolina Central, McNeese is actually below you guys. Western Carolina's below y'all. Southeastern's 45th, $2 million less than Southern. Southern Utah, UT Martin, Prairie View, Central Arkansas, Northern Iowa, SEMO, Northwestern State Nichols. West Georgia's operating budget is second to last compared to Southern's 22nd among available ones.
And again,
get our ass whooped to every last one of them.
And again, this is the thing. And I'll go back to what you said, P. Are you still fighting for your money from the state? Absolutely. But that doesn't stop you from being where you're at already currently.
Being efficient with your money.
Just being efficient with what
it's
you
like
got.
When your parents used to give you $1 and you ready to go spend that whole dollar right now.
Yeah.
Like, hold on. Go get you a little annihilator right quick. That's 25 cents.
Later, come back.
Hold on to your 75 cents because we're going somewhere later. Because when we go somewhere later, you're going to be looking with your hands out because you spent all your money earlier. It seems like we just wasteful spend and then we don't understand the structure because it's no way with our operation budget being better and higher than all of those schools. And yet we're shelling out all of this money that we say we don't have. And then it has to come down to one simple thing. If I'm investing and you investing for me, and every time I give you the money to make the investment, you come back and say, man, look, it didn't work out. Oh boy, we took a loss with that one, man. But I'm gonna need another $75,000. I'm gonna try this one. Hey, let's see how it go. And he's selling it up. Hey man, everything I looked into said, look, we're supposed to get a return within 6 months, man. We're gonna flip this. That 75 gonna turn into 150,000. 6 months, come back. Oh man, you know what? The market took a little dip. Oh, shoot, we lost that 75 grand, man. And you got another 50. I see something. It's like at some point you're gonna say, I don't want this guy as my investor anymore, right?
Yeah.
No. Perry, you want to be sick?
I don't.
Southern's operating budget, 5.6 million. That was 22nd best among these publicly available. North Dakota State's only at 6.5 at number 11.
Now, I want to be very clear because it gets operating budget
is different.
It's different than what you.
Yeah, they got those farmers that drop the big bucks. Like
that's why I say keep it within Louisiana because these Louisiana FCS
but also too, the Southern's right there behind Lamar. Lamar would beat Southern by 60 this year.
Who's a top 25 program?
Top 25 program. And they're in Texas, right there in Beaumont. That's right there across the border.
Yeah, literally.
Not far from it's literally like the first exit, it feels like, when you get to Texas. Guys, like the only HBCU above Southern is Morgan. Look how much is Morgan underachieved.
Listen.
How much are they spending?
Dog, let me tell you. Listen,
Morgan's spending 5.8.
Let me tell you something. I Miss Campbell, she works at Morgan. She called me one time. She said, Scotty, if I had Morgan State's budget at South Carolina State, she said we would have never lost a game. She said because at South Carolina State, she's just trying to figure out how she's getting the money in. She said, Morgan, she said, I'm just trying to figure out how to get more. She said, Morgan got so much money. It's just they don't know how to spend it. It's just so
their
much.
Campus is so nice.
It's so beautiful.
God, they have a beautiful campus.
And I told Banks, I said, you're truly a hidden gem because if they get the right coach in there, Morgan's going to be a problem.
Do you think that mindset is holding them back too?
Absolutely.
When the job comes open, the first thing, hey, the HBCU, what do we have that we can go to?
I want to be fair to Morgan. Damon Wilson was a really good hire when they made that hire. It just didn't work out. I want to give them that. They did a good job hiring. He was supposed to work. The problem is, and it was the same thing with the A&T coach, you can't hire an OC. You have to hire good coaches around you. We talk about Wilder's staff. Scotty, all those guys are performing well. They're recruiting well. He made the wrong hires around him, and that turned his tenure into the wrong direction. So I do want to defend them there. They made a good hire.
Absolutely. I'm not taking anything away from that, Blue. You're absolutely right. He was a homeborn guy, you know what I'm saying? Bowie built it up. It was supposed to be literally like, hey, you just take what you did at Bowie, bring it to Morgan, we straight, right? So, but at the end of the day, you hired the right defensive guy with Sewell, but again, you just couldn't find the quarterback, nor could you find the right offensive coordinator. And this is my thing with Morgan, right? It's one of those things to where it's like, okay, you've had the Damon. Where do you go?
Do they look around and say, let's look at the FCS landscape?
To me, I'll go, and Blue, I don't really watch Towson like that, but Towson been whooping my ass. So it's like, why not go get the memo from Towson?
Bro, Towson's quarterback 2 years ago was a starter. He got hurt last year. A different guy started. They brought both those guys back. They're starting a true freshman they've recruited this year out of Florida as a starting quarterback right now. They have 3 starting quarterbacks that have won games at the FCS level on that staff. Morgan still has not found one.
Can't even steal the guy who's on the bench at Towson across the road and just pay him and say, hey, listen, man, we'll pay you $6,000. Just come over here and be quarterback for us.
And let me ask you, Blue, with as much FCS football as you've watched, especially when you have those mix of SWAC, MEAC. Well, let's stay with SWAC because the MEAC plays a little bit different brand. Not saying they give their head, just like they just great when they play in FCS, but we see a little bit different type of fight. But when you watch the SWAC typically take on the Southland or whoever other conference, for us to have such a bad record against FCS as a whole, what are you seeing to be the separation for them, the rest of FCS to be so much better than the SWAC? Now, the SWAC does win games here and there, no doubt about it. But as a whole, SWAC versus the rest of FCS, what seems to be the separation from you just watching game here and a game there that ultimately just we don't seem to even be in the same ballpark?
I mean, it's coaching sometimes, and then also to the line of scrimmage, like you said. And I think it was Nick that said it right, that the line of scrimmage is just different. And it's a lot of those. It's a lot of the training tables, things like that. But then also too, it's just like I don't know what it is. And I've talked to HBCU coaches about this. It feels like they just overthink it in those games sometimes, where you'll see players in those games just make the dumbest mistakes, and then they won't make those same mistakes when they play other SWAC schools. Right? Like, I mean, look at the Southern McNeese game last year.
Southern fell apart.
How many mistakes does Southern make that they didn't make the rest of the year?
Yeah.
To lose that game.
Yeah.
It's just little things like that. And then in those type of games, like I don't want to take a shot, but you can go play UAPB and make a ton of mistakes and still escape with the win. You can't go play some of these other schools and make those same mistakes because the games are so close. One mistake like that will cost you that game.
Yeah.
UCA playing UAPB. UCA started the game out making mistakes. They figured it out and scored every possession after that. But it's like,
go ahead.
It's just like, damn, you got the upper hand. They making that, but it's like they sit back and that's literally what I've seen. They play the game along and then they say eventually we're gonna play fundamentally sound good enough to where when they make a mistake, and then the momentum, once it goes their way, it seems like there's no way to get it back.
Gone. And to me, and a lot of that, and I see in the chat, I thought it was going, it's mental. Right? Because if you've never beaten this team, right, you're just like, oh, here we go again. It's one of those, oh, here we go again moments, right?
But Southern came out so flat against Nichols, bro. It looked like they didn't even want to be there last year. Like, how do you not get up for that? But then you'll go get up for whoever else within the conference, right? I get it. But you got to get up for everybody, especially a team that you're recruiting against in your own backyard.
It's the coach, dog. It's a difference between a Tremaine Jackson and a Terrence Graves. Because Tremaine, for the past few years, I had to live winning out of conference games to make again, let me break it down to you all. You go get Division II coaches because they are the Power 4 of football. And what I mean by that, there is no consolation prize of, oh yeah, me and this black conference, we're going to get together and we're going to do a bowl game. They are competing against every Division II program in the nation. So when you go out and when you say you're ranked 7th in Division II football, that means something because you're ranked against everybody else. So what Tremaine he has to out-recruit everybody else. Virginia Unions, when they up there and they're winning or whatever, they got to do that. That's why I didn't like Tennisberry, because you can't be ranked where you're ranked every year and get your ass spanked in the first round of the playoffs every freaking year. That's
what
why
was they, the SIAC?
Yeah, they were the SIAC champs.
So they was SIAC good.
Clearly, and they'll have the number one defense. They go up against Lenore Ryan. Lenore Ryan ran that ball down their throat. I was so hyped to watch it. I was like, oh, this is going to be a good game. Smacked. Next year came back, smacked again. That's the type of, but again, that's why I like that level of play, because it's not just my local anything. It's I have to win out of conference games because that gives me a better ranking, and I got to dominate my conference as well. That's why I like Tremaine Jackson's mindset, because it's one of those, when he had his press conference, I don't want to be SWAC good. Made that very clear. Now, y'all still scheduling Lincoln a couple of years down the road. I'm like, he lying. Okay, I don't care what he's saying. He lying.
That was before he got there.
I'm just saying down the road. I'm saying that if down the road I keep seeing VULs and Lincolns, you're lying. I don't care what you're talking about to me. You're lying, right? But that to me is the issue. That's why I don't mind if D1 institutions go get a D2 coach, because D2 coaches understand I got to be nationally good. I can't be regionally good, because I'm going to get into the playoffs and I got to go beat the guy across town. I got to go beat the guy above me and below me and no Diddy, right? So just all those type of things. Last points before we move on to best coach fit. Anything? Anybody?
I'm good. I think
all right.
We knocked on all them doors, at least the best we could.
Yeah. All right, guys. Bringing it down. Best coach fit. All right. Best coach fit. We got some major pundits up here, man. All right, we got my boy Wonder, the blue. And he got my hey wait. Right. So we got some good pundits up here.
So I must admit, I didn't do my due diligence for everybody else the same way that I did for Southern. I can care less about who they pick as their head coaches, right? Right now, I got an issue that I got to deal with at Southern. So I'll speak for Southern and maybe UAPB, just maybe. But everybody else, I'll leave that to y'all. They on their own right now. I'm not here to.
Perry's gonna be suggesting high school coaches, middle school coaches.
Yeah, I know a guy on the corner. Gray's available. Anybody? Eric Dooley available. Anybody out there? You know.
Well, that's where we're gonna start with. Right off the gate. Well, we know who you want, P. We know you want the Joe Taylors, the Mercers, the Bobby Wilders. Anybody else that you add to that, or that's your top?
And I want people to understand, because I've been seeing people saying, well, why have you said a white coach? Why are you naming these programs that you think people not going to come from? I said that to be eye-opening to people, because when you saw my list, it didn't start in the SWAC. It didn't start in HBCU. It went completely away from it.
Well, it started with Dawson Odom, so that wasn't that was a
little in the SWAC.
Sometimes you can get that old thing back, because he didn't get fired. A rare case where a coach really did not get fired.
Okay.
So, but the reason I said that for a whole was I wanted to open people's eyes to then look at those programs, because I know on the average, you're not looking at a Tennessee Tech. You're not looking at a University of West Georgia. You're not looking at Mercer. You're not paying attention to what's going on in those programs and what are they building. For some of you guys, you never even heard of those programs. Now, I said it because I want you to open your eyes to say, well, that guy wouldn't come here. Then go look and see why he wouldn't come here. Go open your eyes to learn about that program. Well, why did Tennessee Tech is 7-0. Mercer, I think, is 5-1, maybe 6-1 on the season right now. I mean, just for you to take a second to say, well, maybe they're doing things different, because we got to understand, for Southern, you've been doing it so one way for so long. Now it automatically comes natural to you. The fact that as soon as you get an opening, the first thing you do is go spew out these names of people that's been in this same raffle bowl since we've been first taking tickets. At some point, pour them names out and try from somewhere else. And I just want people to understand to go look at those programs, because if you say this is what you want at Southern, this is what it looks like to be successful on the FCS level. And if you're going to be successful, you can't just think about being swag good when you're in a state with 5 other FCS programs that you have to recruit against and you have to play against. And you can't beat none of them if they're not named Grambling. So for my coaches, what I picked and what I said was to get people, the first thing, you ain't got to hurry up and yell a SWAC name or HBCU name. Look around and get unfamiliar. Be unplugged from being content to always saying the same shit and the same people, and go look out there beyond that. And if you want to be really good, find somebody who's really good already on the level that we're on and not just saying SWAC good. So that was why I wanted to clarify when I gave those names. It was the spark of interest to see, well, what's going on at Mercy and Tennessee Tech. And maybe that'll have you start looking at the FCS top 25 and like Blue just did. Now you finding out, damn, our operation budgets are better than some of these schools. And they whooping the shit out of us. Damn, look at the coaching staff that they're putting together. They got guys that do this so we're going to invest our money for the next coach. We know what it is we want our coach to build. We know what it is we want a program to look like.
Yeah. All righty. Blue, you've heard Perry's suggestions. What you got, Blue?
Yeah, I think like my number one would be the same as his with Joel Taylor. Like that would be my pick if I had to have it. I mean, he's still in the HBCU space, but we talked about him earlier. Why not a Matt Leone? Man, we've been begging for him to get a shot somewhere. He has Southern ties. He knows what it's like to coach in Baton Rouge. And then shout out to I don't know who put it in the chat. I think it was Mr. Branch, a guy we talked about on the phone. What about Tyrone Nix from Tarleton State?
Yeah.
He's the assistant head coach, D coordinator. That defense is playing out of its mind right now. He's had stops all across the South. He's been at Southern Miss, been at Ole Miss, been in Middle Tennessee State, Texas A&M. He's been all over. He's been all over the region. You have to recruit, and he is nailing development. He is killing it on the recruiting trail in terms of the transfer portal and high school. I think Tyrone Nix, like you always look for these assistant head coaches that are ready to take the next step. Man, listen, he's a top 5 defensive coordinator in the country right now at the FCS level. Why not take a shot at him?
Why not? All right.
Instead of a top 5 defensive coordinator in the damn SWAC. Shit. Get on my nerves with that shit.
All right. Listen, for Southern, I love the celebrity route, right? So I would love to see Tyron. Listen, you know me. Listen, I'm your resident celebrity guy. All right, so I'm your resident entertainment television. Tyrann Mathieu, hey, what's good? You looking to coach? Because again, listen, I'm so serious. I think Tyrann Mathieu would be a great fit at Southern. I'm not a big fan of Marshall Faulk. I know that name has been tossed around a lot. I'm not a big fan. I think he's, from the people I've talked to from Colorado, they said he is as smart as a whip. I mean, they said like he's a great offensive mind. And they said the thing that they would worry him is who does he bring with him? Because they said Marshall is going to have you right. But who does he bring around him for recruiting, defense? You know what I'm saying? Because offensively, y'all going to be straight. He said, but who does he bring around him is the key. And he would have to kind of shake some branches and some trees to figure out what that staff would look like.
Hey, Tremaine Jackson, you wouldn't have to worry about them goddamn lines here at Southern, baby. Hey,
I'll say this:
to get no fans to come to the game. I'm just putting a little stuff out there. But Tremaine, happy homecoming. You wouldn't have to worry about that here, baby.
Y'all love stealing the PV coach. What's up, Blue?
Bro, I'm about to say, I've heard Southern has not ruled out making a power move like that where they just go poach somebody just to make a statement. It might not be Tremaine, but there's a few other names I've heard where they're not going to Southern. If they go that route, keep it in the sweat, they're going to take somebody's head coach.
Let's pause there, right?
That threw you off right there, didn't it?
Listen, they're outside of Tremaine and Terenzo Quinn.
Stay the fuck away from the SWAC. That's been the whole
Oh,
topic today.
I was talking HBCU football, like in
Oh,
general,
oh, okay,
including the
Trey
MEAC.
Oliver,
okay,
Dennis
okay,
Berry.
Chennis Berries.
okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
they're going to
Stay
take
the fuck away
somebody.
from everybody else,
Okay.
please. I mean,
Yeah.
just wash that away from our mind right now. Just
Yeah,
like
I was like,
Yeah, I should have specified HBCU. I thought that's what we were talking about. Yeah, outside the TC and Tremaine, I'm good on everybody else.
I was like, yeah,
I don't
I'm
need
good.
nobody.
hey, don't give them any bright ideas, Blue, because Southern will go do it. Like, hey,
Now if Southern wasn't as bad shape as it was, I would happily go reach out to Ryan Lewis from
Yeah,
Bama State's old defensive coordinator at UAB. I would holler at him, right? Because defensively, y'all gonna be straight. That I would definitely holler at him. But y'all ain't really bad. Y'all ain't really bad.
and that's what I want. I want a defensive-minded coach. That's what I'm looking for. Because in this conference, with as bad as quarterback play that we see, boy, you get to a stout defense, you can win games on turnovers and special teams returning punts if you don't do nothing else.
Facts.
If you can build a solid, everybody, you ain't got to worry about no superstar offense in this league. Build you a damn good defense and get out there and go play against these sorry ass offenses across the SWAC.
they're going to get James Colsey, and you're going to be happy with it. You're going to get James Colsey, and that's what you're going to be happy with.
Hell to the no. All right, next up, best coaching fit. You see, look, I got you, Perry. UAPB and Morgan State. Blue, hit me with some Morgan State guys.
Or that Morgan was one of the hardest ones.
Okay.
And I don't see a ton of guys in that region, like unless you went and poached from the Townsend staff. But again, like I don't think Townsend's going to let you get anywhere. I know we talked about getting out of just the HBCU space, but I really do think if they make a move, guys, Maurice Flowers is probably going to be a guy they consider.
Yeah. I like him.
And then also too, I would not be surprised to see them spin the block on like an Alvin Parker as well in that same kind of area.
I can rock with you on that. For me, what I would like to see at Morgan, I would really like to see Henry Frazier. I would really I would really like to see Henry Frazier take that leap up to Morgan State. I would knock on the door of James Franklin. I would say, hey, James.
He's gonna call security. He's counting his 49 million or whatever.
You think it's rough for me trying to get a coach from Tennessee Tech?
You know,
hey, James Franklin finna be doing at Morgan State.
Hey, James, listen, right down the road, you know what I'm saying? So, but in all seriousness, definitely poaching somebody from Towson.
Morgan is one of those programs where they probably really do need to go look in the FCS realm and find a OC on the rise, a DC on the rise, somebody from like the CAA or somewhere around in it. Like that is a program I think that really does need that to help. They need a foundation, and they can't just have anybody say. They need somebody that can come in and build them a solid foundation to grow upon.
I'm not a Alvin Parker fan. I just don't like the way. I don't like that offense. It works. It works. I just hate run first styles like that. Like it is so. I hate that shit. Right? Like it just bothers me. But for Morgan, I think it's one of the two ways. You either go celebrity because again, you're fighting against Maryland, or you go a solid head coach like a Alvin Parker, a Henry Frazier, or Maurice Flowers, if that's the route you want to go. And Maryland's very, very what is it like culturally friendly? You know what I'm saying? Like Maryland is just very diverse, right? So I don't see a problem with Morgan State going in the white area as well. I don't listen. Y'all can keep saying Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis ain't happening because he's going to outprice himself every single time. But if you want to get Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, he's going to outprice himself every single time.
What's some non-HBCU coaches that you think could fit in that region at Morgan State?
Oh, Clinton Portis would be a good one.
That's in the FCS realm in that region, like how I asked about the region of the SWAC, in that realm, that corridor.
The problem is a lot of the top teams there. So like you look at Monmouth, their head coach has been there since before I was born.
Whoa.
He's been coaching like 30 years at Monmouth. all the Ivy League schools, you aren't going to poach anybody from the Ivy Leagues because they got the money to keep everybody. And then all the top CAA schools are kind of locked in, and they're going to bid with Morgan. And then you got the Patriot League that's got that old money, and you're not going to probably steal anybody from the Patriot League. And so that's why I think it's harder for Morgan. And that's why I think the D2 realm is their best bet here, because you missed on it with Damon Wilson, right? But maybe you get maybe it works this time if you go get a Dr. Alvin Parker or someone like that. Because I don't think, unless you get an unproven coordinator that hasn't been a head coach, like that would be the only move for Morgan. Because I don't think there's any head coach in that region, Perry, that they're going to have a realistic shot at poaching.
So Morgan is forced to have to pull out of the HBCU pie.
Unless they go celebrity.
And again, I don't think Morgan cares about football enough to say that I don't have to. You get them, like, it's like, if it works, great. If it don't, they'd be like, okay.
The problem is one of the, and I hate to even bring this up because his defense is not very good this year, but I mean, he's still kind of trying to get it going. Is one of the most popular names in that region is Monmouth's defensive coordinator. Actually, he was at North Dakota State before he got to Monmouth. He was the AFCA 35 under 35. Like, he has all these accolades. Maybe him, but then, man, it's a really tough sell to your boosters to go watch Monmouth's defense right now and say that's who we're going to hire to come bring in as the head coach.
Yeah, that's tough. I would like to see Ed Reed up there, though, if they could pull him. If you could pull Ed Reed, I think that'd be great for Morgan. That'd be absolutely a steal. His bravado, his moniker, the Ravens ties. I think that would be a perfect fit for him at Morgan State. But other than that, yeah, I agree with Blue. I think you got to go find a guy at the lower level and see if it works again, or pull somebody as a coordinator, as Blue said as well, and figure that out on that end. All right, Perry, this is your opportunity now for UAPB. Now, let me say this. I saw this in the chat. Somebody said Brad Smiley from Southern Arkansas University, from SAU. Hey, he has a damn good record, coached at JUCO levels. I'm looking at his record right now. His time at Southern Arkansas University, his 2022, he went 5-6. From that point forward, he went 10-2 and 9-2. So
they the Mule Riders, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Mule Riders. Yep, they are. So that was the first choice I saw. And JUCO, he just straight dominated in JUCO. Was first place every time. So
and Pine Bluff is not too far off. You need a guy that's going to come in and develop guys and be able to get that program headed in the right direction. I don't know much about that guy you just named, but if he has success in the JUCO and at SAU, I'm sure he can come in and do something in Pine Bluff. Because once again, Pine Bluff is a team, just like I'm talking about in Southern Louisiana. UAPB can't beat anybody in the state of Arkansas. Literally nobody. D2, FCS, they cannot beat nobody in the state of Arkansas. Not Henderson State, not Harding, nobody.
So he went 93-46 at Trinity Valley, and then he is 25-10. I don't know what his current record is at South Arkansas. We can look that up real quick. But yeah, 10-2, 9-2, just a winner.
Stops over here in terms of coaching. He's been the
Western State, Trinity Valley, Tulane, Trinity Valley head coach, Northwestern State's OC, and South Arkansas.
Perry's about to add him to the Southern list with them Louisiana.
No. Pine Bluff need them better than we do. Pine Bluff needs them better than we do. Pine Bluff needs somebody with a foundation and a structure. They haven't had a foundation in a long time. We're talking about a game.
Real quick. I want to go back to Morgan real quick. I'm so sorry, Perry. What about Slippery Rock, Blue? What if they?
Yeah. Or was it Cootstown up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, go pick someone off of their staff, because both those programs are really, really good. Like Slippery Rock always has like those weird NFL type prospects at like wide receiver and stuff. They got some real talent up there.
Yeah, I know that's my boy, the football czar,
Emery.
He loves some Slippery Rock. He loves some Slippery Rock. I'm sorry, Perry. Go back to your South Arkansas.
Oh no, I got nothing. I was just saying Pine Bluff just needs a foundation laid, like something to build upon, instead of you go to a championship once every so many years, and then you come back the next year and you fall completely off a cliff. So every now and again, they luck up with building a team, and then it's not a program. It's nothing sustainable. The next year is boom, it's flat. Start over again.
That Bama be winning, bro. That Bama be winning. 49-14, 26-18. He lost to
They say
Harding.
he beat Arkansas Baptist.
He lost to Harding 31-12. He beat Henderson State, Northwestern Oklahoma. He beat Southwestern Oklahoma. Arkansas Tech University beat them. So yeah, so
maybe like a Delta State head coach.
yeah, Delta State wouldn't be bad. Yeah,
Or even like the DC over at Henderson. Is it Dante Cullum?
Because a few years ago, they actually, I think Henderson's coach name was in the mix, but Henderson ended up giving him a raise and a contract extension, and that pulled him out of the conversation at UAPB. UAPB tends to sometimes be scared when it comes to these type of hires. It's like when somebody's scary, and it's like they go for the safest, easiest route that you can go, and it's like, all right, well, what are you gonna get? They are a true definition of no return on the investment. I mean, just over the years, no return on the investment. I mean, even if I kept it Black College, I think this will be a good place for a Dawson Odoms.
For you, yeah.
A program builder. Somewhere where you can take some time, or because I've always asked, what is it that UAPB really wants? Because for the past previous coaches and Doc Gamble and in Alonzo Hampton, in 2-3 years, you get nothing out of them but 2-3 wins a season. And the fans don't seem to have they're not crying out about it. Like Southern fans was pissed. UAPB fans, year 3 into Alonzo Hampton, and they still just like, it's all good.
Harding is 90-16 in 8 seasons.
Yeah.
I've heard he's basically built a heaven for himself at Harding.
And he's from Harding, right? Like he played there and like he's coached his whole career there.
The only way he leave there is like the University of Arkansas come knocking, like I don't see him. And I've had this conversation. He's built a heaven up there. I don't think he wants to leave his heaven.
Okay.
No,
but I think but who's on the staff that would like to leave heaven, huh?
That's what I'm saying.
You want to come down here to hell and try to change things,
Yeah, so Rudy Moot was the defensive coordinator. Then they got a Luke Tribble, who was the co-defensive coordinator and some stuff down there. So
somebody I see who is CB. He say somebody must have broke my heart at UAPB. No, man, I grew up around UAPB. My mom went to school there. I've seen many UAPB games from the Lee Hartman days all the way to now. I remember the old stadium. Boy, was it Pumphrey Stadium that was on University right off the lake. I've been to all the UAPB I can handle, my brother. Did nobody have to hurt my feelings? I've just seen a lot of sorry ass football from UAPB from the 90s to today. So that's all. That's where I stand. At some point, you gotta want to do better. Now, they don't pay a lot of money for a head coach there. So they would probably be a good place, Scotty, like you talk about, looking at the D2 level, a guy that's maybe making 70, 80,000, and he can come to UAPB and they say, look, we can give you 160, 170. That's a come up.
Oh, so they're only paying 170 because the guy was about to throw.
I don't know. I don't think they're not paying over 200,000.
Okay, so the guy I was about to throw out is definitely not coming. Then he makes 172 at his D2 school.
Yeah. I would say a Felton Huggins would be great for this role. If you wanted to go even lower to NAIA, Quentin Morgan from I saw that one. He's not a bad one. It's been a little shaky for the past couple of years, but he's built some stuff at Langston. But again, I would prefer a Felton Huggins right now. He's hot. I wouldn't do Quentin Gray. No, not at UAPB.
You need a program guy at UAPB because it is not going to be easy.
I think Alvin Parker. Listen, I think Alvin Parker, a Dawson Odoms, you need guys who
give me a non-HBCU guy too. Once again, remember
Chris McCullough.
We find ourselves naming these HBCU guys, don't we?
I would say Chris McCullough. He's the head coach at UT Permian Basin in the Lone Star Conference.
Hey, didn't he, Scotty?
Yeah,
Scotty
he was.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, he got hired at 28 years old at UT Permian Basin as the head coach, but he's from Pine Bluff. He was born there, and his family lives there still. He played
He
at
was born
Henderson
in
State.
Pine Bluff?
Yes, that's where he's from.
Oh, you may have just helped the brother out on this one. UAPB, I hope y'all paying attention.
Yeah, went 10-1 in the Low Star, defeating D2 Texas schools. Listen, and that white man killing it in the baseball. Killing it. So at UAPB baseball. So
how much this guy you think is making over there?
Like 170 probably.
Shit. UAPB. UAPB, you better collectivize UAPB and get some money together.
But yeah, I know for a fact he was born in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So like, and I want to say like his family is also still there.
Maybe UAPB can make a run at him, even though he's making the money over there. This could be a good opportunity for him.
they upset Tarleton too.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, this number one on the listing. Hell yeah. Pull his name back up? UAPB. Look at this guy. Screenshot it. Take a look. Send it to whoever you need. If this guy has Pine Bluff ties and he's coaching on the D2 level, what is that, D2?
Yeah, it was D2. He was named the interim coach at East Central at 26 years old.
Wow.
And he lost his first 2 games and then went on a 6-game winning streak to end the year at East Central. And the team finished 9-3.
Yeah.
And won the Heritage Bowl.
He's from Pine Bluff. Born Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
He went to Henderson State, right there in the state.
Yeah.
But could y'all imagine being 26 and being named the head coach of a Division II football program and then just being like, "Yeah, this is yours"?
Ugh.
They must really thought high of him. Really thought high of him.
This kid, he graduated from Watson Chapel High School. That was damn. He's Pine Bluff for sure.
Can't beat that.
You can't beat if you went to Dollaway, Pine Bluff High, Watson Chapel, Whitehall. You Pine Bluff. You 870.
He said they have some facilities, some nice facilities. Pine Bluff got nice facilities. I heard.
Yeah.
Listen, good job, Blue. I don't know how the fuck you identified this, but this is perfect right here.
Yeah.
Like this is UAPB, and even if he's making whatever he's making at what the University of Texas, what?
It's It's like it's UT Permian Basin.
Yeah, whatever he had now, man. I sell this, man. Hey, look, you can come to the SWAC. You can play in a bowl game. We playing big games. We on television, national TV. Like, bro, you will get notes. Like, if you want to take the jump to the next level, you can come to us. They say I'm about to email them. Hey,
but Perry gonna hit him with the I'm reaching out in regards to the open positioning at the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff.
I'm gonna say, look, bro, I'm a Pine Bluff High Zebra. You a Watson Chapel Wildcat. Let's have a conversation.
Let's talk. Let's talk.
Hey, from UTPB to UAPB.
Hey, that's
it.
That's the shirt right there, bro.
Hey.
That's the shirt with it. Yeah.
That's the guy. Pine Bluff
Hey,
I like
bag at him. Throw the bag at him.
Good job, Blue. I like that.
Hey, Blue. Hey, the boy wonder. I've been trying to tell y'all, man. Walking in encyclopedia, baby. All right, All-Core Grambling. Blue, start it off.
This one's a little awkward for me for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Listen, and I know I usually don't stay in the HBCU space, but this guy has been needing a head coaching spot. Terenzo Quinn. This is the job for him. And then outside the box one, he just got into HBCU. So and this might be cheating to consider him an HBCU hire. Why not make a run at Shannon Harris and see if he wants to come back? He was the right-hand man when y'all were winning.
Yeah.
And what did he just do in the UFL?
Kill it. Turn up.
Bro, I would love to see Shannon Harris because I don't really consider him the same type of HBCU hire that like we've discussed today.
That's good.
He went and showed that he could do it at the UFL. Now the problem is if it gets into a bidding war between Alcorn and the UFL, are they going to be able to win that?
He should be able to do both.
It's different for the OC to be.
I feel you.
The head coach. Like you can't have your head coach be gone for 6 months.
Okay, that's fair.
Put that what Jamie Walker just put. We need to do that. You see that? Yeah.
Hey, that's some good money in there. That's
Hey.
some real good money in there. That's some real good money in there.
Could you see us in the war room trying to find the coach for a team?
Hell yeah.
And the rate the conversations and like, what can they do? What offense? Like, who is this guy? What ties do they have? Man,
Listen, he's not lying. He's not lying because I had a conversation with Reggie Barlow 2 years ago when the FAMU job came open. He hit me up and said, "Yo, put my name." He's like, "I'm trying to figure out how to get into." He said, "I want to come back to HBCU football." I said, "Really?" I said, He said, "UFL don't pay shit." He said, "They don't pay shit." He told me straight up. That's what Reggie Barlow said to me. Facts. He said they don't pay shit. That's why you see him at Tennessee State right now getting the bag, right? Because I think they get paid like $75,000, something like that. It's not a lot of money. So I agree with Jamie on that one. Yeah. So if you get the right job, you know what I'm saying? You know, he can easily get about 215, 205 from Alcorn. You know what I'm saying? Now, the staff he puts around and how he builds it down there.
And go back to what we talked about. Putting that structure in place. Once you get past how much you paying that head coach, what does the rest of this look like for us to be successful for what we can afford?
That's fair.
Instead of us just blowing everything on the head coach. He's supposed to do everybody's job, I guess. He the recruiter, the OC, the DC, special team. He the ambassador. He everything.
That's what's hard with this job, though, is because I don't think people understand how hard of a job Alcorn really is. Like, we joke about Valley and UAPB. Like, Alcorn is like a step above that with what they're really dealing with, like behind the scenes and like the resources they have. So I don't think people understand how hard of a job this is.
Who from the FCS level you think can handle, aside out of a SWAC, can handle an Alcorn?
I would like to see Dawson Odoms here. This is
Oh,
where
really?
I would really like to see a Dawson Odoms in this type of situation because I feel as though they're in they're that hard. It was either Dawson Odoms or some defensive minded head coach because
they go back to McNair.
No. I mean, I don't think he should have left in the first place, but that's just me. But when I think when Southern goes back to when Southern Alcorn play, we'll see who made the right decision. That would be cleared out very soon. Okay.
Hey, oh boy, that worked out perfectly. That's the G Bowl.
That is, listen, I am not the G Bowl.
That's the G Bowl. We're gonna see if you hey,
you know, for me, I would listen, man. These are the type of jobs that Alcorn is the type of job where you're sitting out smoke screens. Because I gotta just find out who's interested. Who is interested? And then from that interest, then you can hone in on who truly wants to be there. And can really have a plan to do more with it. Now,
can you go get a Delta State coach and say, "Hey,
that's
come
what I
to
was.
Alcorn?"
That's what I was thinking. Or like,
why would I? Why if I'm Delta State? Why would I come here? I got better facilities at Delta State.
You can be seen more. You Alcorn television games.
But the dude at Delta State's been there for like, I mean, years.
And I guess Valley did try that with Kendrick Wade, didn't he? They pulled somebody from off the staff. Wasn't Kendrick Wade on the staff?
Yeah. Yes, he was the wide receivers coach. Yeah. He's been at Delta State since 2013. So that's a real tough pull.
And he's seen it change from, from being not good to being really good and the facilities and stuff like that. Like,
I wouldn't be against what Blue said with the D coordinator from Jackson.
Torenzo?
Yeah. I wouldn't be against that to be at Alcorn.
That's not
well, never mind. He ain't coming back. Vincent Dancy.
Oh, hell nah. After this job, if Dancy gonna come back, he gonna come back.
Listen, I talked to Dancy after he left. He ain't coming back for this one.
He think he'll come back for Southern?
Absolutely.
I'll take Vincent Dancy at Southern.
Listen, I've talked to some coaches outside. That Southern job is very people really want that Southern job. And again,
people act like it's some low barrel job. Like who would want to go there?
I don't. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of coaches. They love that Southern job is very appealing because of the recruiting base, and because of the facilities, and because of the money.
Hey, I'll take a Vincent Dancy. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'll take Vincent Dancy for sure.
Now, I don't
Vincent
know if he
Dancy
leaves
ain't
the
taking off
SEC.
for him.
Yeah, I don't know if he leaves the SEC for it, but you know.
Well, to go to Grambling, could you see a Vincent Dancy at a Grambling?
I would love to see Vincent Dancy at Grambling.
Ooh, that would be nice. And he carries this. He ain't no G-man, but I can see him instilling what that means.
That grit. Yeah, the G stands for grit.
Oh, man, I can see that.
I love it. I think Dancy at Grambling would be absolutely amazing. Blue, you got any Grambling thoughts?
I don't. Okay, so one not outside the box. I still think they should have promoted Tony Hull when they fired
I
Hugh
agree.
Jackson.
I agree. 100%
He is he's a gem that's getting overlooked because he's at UAPB right now. Just me personally, I will say too, for both of these jobs, you also could look at maybe like a Chad Williams at UCA or even like a Tony Davis at UCA. It's a DC. Chad's a DC up there, Southern Miss legend, so he's got the Mississippi ties. And then Tony Davis has consistently built some of the best defensive lines in the FCS. He was the guy that went and pulled David Walker out of Henderson State and developed him into a Buck Buchanan winner. So like two guys like that have ties in the area that haven't been head coaches, because I don't want to say this disrespectfully. There's head coaching jobs in the SWAC that are not for first time head coaches because they're a pressure cooker, like the Jacksons,
the
possibly even the Southerns, the FAMUs. Like you're gonna, unless you are that dude, you're just gonna get eaten alive by the fan base, the pressure. Alcorn is a perfect job for a first time head coach. Now you might not have the resources, but I don't think the expectation is to win the championship every single year. So I look at like a Alcorn, even a Grambling now. I know Grambling has the history, but Grambling hasn't been a championship program in a long time. I don't really think that's a job now that has the same pressure. But you can experiment in Alabama A&M. You can experiment in a Bethune-Cookman. You can experiment even at Alabama State. Hell, they haven't been a championship program in a while. A Texas Southern. So like those programs, you can be first-time head coaches and have time to grow. At Southern, if you're a first-time head coach, you got 2 years. If you ain't winning in 2 years, you out of here. And we know first-time head coaches that get fired that quickly don't get second chances.
No, not at all. Any Blue, you got any I'm trying to think outside the box for Grambling.
I named those two guys at UCA, but I mean, you can go get like now I don't know how expensive this guy would be, but like a Jeremy Hawkins, who's the assistant head coach, D-line coach at Georgia State. He was at Eastern Kentucky, was a AFCA 35 under 35. Really, really big part of what Eastern Kentucky was building there. And he's been at Georgia State for the past few years. Even like a Anthony Jones, USC running back coach. He has a bunch of ties to the South. He was at Memphis for a handful of years, has a bunch of ties to the area. So like maybe someone like that.
Is this Nathan Brown at UCA?
Yeah, so it's not Nathan Brown. That's the head coach. He ain't leaving. He's an alum.
Yeah, I was about to say that dude right there.
It's the D coordinator and D line coach.
Got you. Okay.
I don't think he has a bio, but the other one does, I believe. I think Tony has a bio on there. Also, too, Dominique Brown, the DB coach at USM, would be an interesting one.
Okay.
Also, somebody said Jonathan Williams used to play quarterback. That's over at South Carolina State.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Yeah, that ain't the one.
Nah.
He a G-man.
Yeah, I'm good on that. And what else, Blue? You said somebody else from another school? You said USM?
Yeah, USM, Dominique Brown, Southern Miss DB coach. And then they're not going to be able to afford Anthony Jones. I think he's making like $500K at USC. So
but it all depends on if they want to be head coaches, though.
Now, that's true. He's a guy who I think is going to be a good head coach eventually. I just don't know if it's going to be here.
This one?
Yeah, Dominique Bowman.
All right. Prior to Temple, Arkansas, coaching staff, Razorbacks, UNLV.
He was at Austin P.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Yeah, he served as defense coordinator at Austin P and UT Martin. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all.
Does he have what it takes to handle the pressure at Grambling?
Yeah, first time head coach. That's tough.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. Like
where it needs to go.
He also could be a candidate for Alcorn too. Like that could be a thing too. Stay in Mississippi.
That's fair. All right, I like that.
What about the guy let me ask you, would that defensive coordinator at Tarleton be good at Grambling State?
Yeah, I think so.
Tyrone?
Oh,
The same
yeah.
type, yeah, same type of recruiting base. Like I think of some of the names we're naming can be candidates for multiple jobs.
Yeah.
Because
I guess I'm asking because for some of them, even though what fits, like a Vincent Dancy seemed like he fits for a Grambling because of like who he is and his demeanor. I can see that rolling. Now somebody else, like if somebody just threw another, it just sometimes don't seem like it fit. But that Tyrone Nix seemed like he could go and be what Grambling needs to be, that physical, tough team, well respected. What you laughing at?
Somebody said Mike Norvell for Florida State.
Well, throw good mouse on in there then. You can go to UAPB.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, last but not least, Howard and Bethune. Listen, I know Blue. We talked
Scotty, you can take Howard. Blue, you can take Bethune. Both y'all can coach at those schools. You can be their head coaches. How about
yeah,
that?
I don't know anything about Howard. They're going to be like, no one's going to know with Howard. They're just going to pull somebody from somewhere. And we're going to be like, damn, okay.
Jay
like,
Walker.
no one saw Larry Scott coming.
What about Jay Walker?
Jay Walker is not about to get.
No, he is not going to be a head coach.
Don't want to be the head coach at Howard.
Hell to the no. Maybe when he's
I
done.
just tried to throw that name, Jay Walker.
Maybe.
Let me throw a name for y'all at Bethune. Miles Russ.
Okay.
The head coach at I believe it's Kaiser University at the NAI level.
Kaiser. How you spell that?
It is so if you just type in Miles Russ, it should pop up. And it's MYLESRUSS.
Hey, I bet Cam Newton would take that Howard job.
Miles. Spell the Russ for me.
RUSS.
Okay, got you.
What y'all think? You think Cam would take that Howard job?
He looks scary. All right, here we go. Let me pull this up for you guys real quick. All right, not with all the cushy, man. Cam Newton got some cushy jobs, man.
Yeah, he's making money now on ESPN.
All right, Miles Russ, Boca Raton, Florida, running back Robert Morris. Was that Robert Morris? And he was a running back coach at Robert Morris. So he kind of moved his way up. 12-1. He just got the job.
Yeah, last year went 12-1 in his first year. Went to the national championship game.
Not bad.
Damn.
All right, let's see what he's doing now. I hope this is right. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you forgot about your boy for that the Howard job. McCoy.
Oh, Shady.
No, he lost that. He lost that.
It's over.
Yeah, he lost
that. Real HU. That was the interview right there.
That was the interview right there. Gone.
So Scotty, they're 6-0. They're 6-0 right now.
Wow.
This season.
Let me see. Roster schedule. Yep, 6-0. Let's see what the guy here. Beat number 6 Indiana Western. Forfeit. Cumberland's Kentucky 40. Damn, they are blowing these Bamas out. They beat the brakes off Florida Memorial. Number 8 St. Thomas beat them. Okay, I'm not mad at this.
Bro, did a 12-1 last year, and this is what I'm saying. You come back the next year and you see the separation.
Yep. And as an assistant, guys, while he was the assistant, they went 55-15, 33-3 in conference, won the national title in 2023, and have 5 straight playoff appearances.
That's not a bad.
How much he making it? Where he at now?
They're at the NAI level. He might not be making $100K.
Oh, Bethune, what are you doing?
And also, too, he's 5 straight running backs have been named All-Americans under him.
Listen. FAMU, he needs to be added to the list. Okay? He needs to be added to the list.
And on top of that, too, I know I don't need to sell him to everybody anymore, but he also got one of those minority internships for the NFL and worked with the Buffalo Bills, too, right before he got hired at Kaiser.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's what you call an up-and-coming coach right there.
Yeah. That's the one you got to grab early.
Yeah, because he can do a lot for your program as he still uses stepping stones.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one a lot, Blue. For if not for Bethune, if they want to keep Lil Bill, that's fine. But if you want to get a real coach, FAMU, Holla at that boy. You know what I'm saying?
And let's be real with folks out there too, because I think too, amongst all this we have in these conversations, fan bases think when a coach comes to your school, he's supposed to be there like Eddie Robinson until he retires. All of our schools are stepping stones. So if somebody says they want to come to your school so they can build their career to go to the next level, that's no slight at your school. Everybody's a stepping stone.
Everybody. Lottie dottie, everybody.
Everybody's a stepping stone. So if a coach say, you say, well, we want to have, man, look, if you can keep a coach 4 years and he's winning well, guess what? He's going somewhere.
I think the tough thing is that, you know, that's a lot of pressure at FAMU coming from NAIA. That's a lot of pressure that's a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying? Going from NAIA.
But Kalen DeBoer did it. The coach at Buffalo that moved up did it. I mean, it's been done. Also, too, I think Colgate's coach or Drake's coach this year, one of the two Pioneer League schools hired, I believe it was Kurt Fitzpatrick, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check this. Yeah, so he went to Colgate from Cortland, and Cortland is in Division III. He was 45-5 as the head coach, 26-0 in conference.
I'm not mad at it. You say hi? You say hi to the people? Right? I'm not mad at it. I think at the end of the day, it's an interview. It's an interview. Yeah. Bring him in, see his plan, see what he can do. Because again, the more resources that you have, he's from Boca Raton, Florida. He's from the area. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see.
Can I ask y'all about a candidate that I have not heard for any job mentioned?
Who?
And he's in the HBCU space. Why don't we ever hear anything about Otis Ridley?
Is Coach O coaching?
Now, hear me out. As a head coach, I don't need you to coach any positions. I need you to do exactly what O is doing. Be a general manager.
Yeah.
Help all the position coaches and recruit your ass off. That's all I need you to do. That's O is literally working as a head coach right now. Jackson has two head coaches. It's O and TC.
Well, let me ask you this.
Where did he go?
Name being out there.
Who?
Johnny Cole.
I don't think with the now again, if I'm Texas Southern, do I run the table again? I like Blue said, Texas Southern is enough. You can experiment at Texas Southern again, but you know the violations that he's had, the problems that he's had with the commissioner, is just a very finicky situation. And I think for him, I would rather go D2 first and then work my way back up than trying to just go right into D1. I think he has to go D2 and come back up.
And should all of these schools that are looking for head coaches, should they drop these salaries tremendously?
What do you mean?
Don't throw the kitchen sink just because the guy wants the job. Let the guy prove he can handle the job.
I mean, you offer what you believe. Listen, and I'm gonna be honest, Coach O deserves $200K, right? Because what he's built, him and TC have built it together.
Won championships.
You know what I'm saying? So he gets over $200K. You know what I'm saying? Now to me, and I love Coach Cole, I'm not giving Coach Cole no $200,000. I don't care when you won the championship. That jank, you know what I'm saying? People were still writing on pens and pads. Like, no, I'm not. You didn't even know what an iPad looked like. Like, no, we're not doing that, right? So I think for him, I offer him 150, 160, because again, this is an opportunity that you're only probably going to get from HBCU, right? So again, if he comes down to a D2 level, I think it'll be great for him to really prove what he can do and move in that fashion. But Coach O is a great. I want to end with this because I know you got to roll. Where would you put Coach O? I want everybody to give me an opinion of where you would put Coach O.
Does it have to be opening right now?
No, just where do you think Coach O would be the best version of himself? Because I think, if I'm being honest, I don't think TC would let him go.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I think so. I think a program will really have to believe in Coach O and really make it worth his while to leave. But if you could put Coach O in a situation, where do you put him?
I don't like him at Alcorn, really. I know it's in Mississippi, but I don't like him with the resources they have there.
Grambling.
I would, I would say Tennessee State, Bama State.
I like him at Bama State. I really like him at Bama State.
Why y'all saying Eddie ain't going nowhere?
Yeah,
No. We're just talking about in general. Like, it don't have to be a
where
coach that's being.
he's a great fit at. For me, I think Texas Southern would be a great fit because of the recruiting base that he would have in Houston, in the state, the resources that he would have from Texas Southern, because they're not shabby when it comes to money. They're able to pay. I just don't know the interest that he would get, but
I just think, like, you watch him navigate the space, right? And we've all been there at media days and media events. He literally acts like head coach 1B, doing interviews and
yeah.
in front of he does so much of that program. And like TC's even giving him credit, right? Like, if without him, they don't build what they build. A&M's another good spot. I don't think FAM's a good spot for him.
No.
Personally, even though they got some of the resources, but I think one of the Bama schools, Tennessee State, would be a dark horse spot because Eddie showed it can be done there. But I mean, Texas Southern's not a bad spot either. Now, if Tremaine wasn't at PV, I wouldn't hate PV either.
No, I wouldn't. I like
y'all this.
Go ahead.
Before I get ready to get up out of here, what do you think about the coordinators and position coaches from the big schools coming down? From the Florida State, huh?
Got to pay.
Yeah, and the reason I'm saying that, I want to talk about that because that'd be the first thing I see people yelling out. And I'm like, do you even see what this guy's making as his salary, as being a running back coach, being a passing game coordinator, being a DB coach? But
I think the only, and because I know you got to go, I want to respond to you.
No, you good. You good.
I think the only people I would do is like the Ryan Lewises of the world, right? And this is what I mean, where you had coordinator experience, but you couldn't get the job at a P4 level because they had somebody in place. But you got there to be a wide receiver coach or to be a quarterback coach, but you were a former coordinator, but at that level, they just needed you as a quarterback coach. I would do that before I would just try to take a coordinator from a Power 4 school. I would try to find those Ryan Lewises of the world, or the guy like Blue said, the guy from Austin P who used to be a defensive coordinator and now he's a DB coach. At least he's had that experience. That's what I'd be looking for.
Yeah, because all you're gonna get from that level is a guy who's a DB coach, a wide receiver coach, a running. You ain't gonna get no type of coordinator from that FBS level.
Not a good one.
Nah.
Yeah, not a good one.
So, all right, guys, man. This was a great conversation, man. Appreciate you, Blue, for stopping in with us. Barry, man, thank you for making time, guys. You guys know where y'all can catch my guys. Blue, let people know where they can catch you at.
Yeah, the Bluebloods on YouTube, all podcast streaming platforms, and FCS Football Central on SI.
Man, lead guy right here, baby. Owner. All right, Perry, let them know where they can catch you at early in the morning.
Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that. Get your ass up with 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Saturday morning on Talk 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge capital city area on the Jaguar Journal. You can also watch it if you're not able to catch it on radio live here. You can catch it on YouTube as well as on Facebook where we have a live. So subscribe to the Jaguar Journal YouTube channel as well as follow the Jaguar Journal on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all that, as well as On the Yard Network also. You can follow On the Yard Network, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and across all social media as well.
All righty, man. Listen, guys, you already know you can catch me always here. Tomorrow, you can catch me and Zoe for late reads tomorrow. All right, listen, until next time, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to holler. God bless. Great conversation, fellas.